from the Road Traffic Infringement Agency. Morning to Mr. Ramodisa from TITA. Morning to the participants of the program. Morning to the team Tsogo. Thank you so much for making this possible. I think without wasting any more time, Tabang, I just want to apologize to everyone for us to start late. You know that in any program, there are some glitches and there would be some delays. But I just wanted to say, thank you so much for joining us today. Tsogo Safety Program is a program we started in 2017 in terms of conceptualizing it. But the idea of it was to really conscientize young people about the importance of road safety, the importance of us being safe on the roads. But secondly was to ensure that young people are able to take advantage of opportunities within the road transport space, so that we don't only speak about the negativity of road safety, road fatalities, road carnages, but we also will look at the opportunities that are there. Then the last part was to also ensure that with the NGOs that are on the ground and that are getting this kind of training and this kind of support and information, they can be able to continue with sharing information on the ground. So basically, that was the idea about Tsogo road safety. And in actual fact, even with the name Tsogo, it actually means awakening. We're saying we're awakening the young people in terms of the road safety space. We're awakening them so they can be able to take advantage of becoming road safety ambassadors in their communities. So the program is divided in many phases. The first phase, of course, is the capacity building workshops, which is what we are doing today. Then the second phase that we're going to be going into, it's going to be called the online mentorship, whereby we then going to be grouping people. People are already in WhatsApp groups as we speak now. So we're going to be we're going to be communicating with you in various WhatsApp groups. In these WhatsApp groups, what we are doing is something we call the online mentorship. And in this online mentorship is to try and help young road safety ambassadors or young or young people in NGOs to start projects and to build proposals in order for them to possibly get funding so they can be able to continue with the work on the ground. Remember, as Tsogo road safety, we don't want to go to KZN every year to the same place, speak about the same thing, but we want to have people that can be able to continue with the messaging on the ground. So hence the online mentorship sessions, but also in the online mentorship sessions, very critical in those discussions that we're then able to help people to build proposals, to build watertight proposals, to build viable proposals that they can be able to, to submit at the likes of Road Accident Fund, Transport CETA, and many other entities that are funding road safety projects. So from the online mentorship sessions, then we also move to something called progress check workshops. And in all these phases, I wouldn't be able to explain more as time goes by. But what is very important, guys, is that today's session, it's more about awareness. It's more about sharing information. It's more about what is happening in the road safety space, internationally and locally. And also it's more about what kind of opportunities are there within the road transport space and how best can we be able to take advantage of those opportunities. It may be internship programs, it may be opportunities within, it may be career opportunities, but also it can be business opportunities. And we want you guys please to really take cognizance of what is going to be taking place today, take notes, raise questions, engage these people from government, engage these people from Road Accident Fund, from Transport CETA, and try to understand what they are doing and what kind of opportunities are there, even in your own province, and how you are able to engage them. I think with me, Tabang, I've tried to explain. If there are any questions, then we can be able to take questions at a later stage. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Tato Motlhabane. I know we also have our partner that we've partnered with in this program, who are Oliven Development Association. I don't know whether General Maja is here today. If he's not, we'll skip that part and we will jump straight into presentations. Just advise me, Tato, is anyone from the Oliven Development Association here to just say a few words as our partners?
Yeah, I think Ingrid, you see her, Ingrid from Olive Development Association, so she can be able to represent General Macha if General Macha is not here. Thank you.
All right, Ingrid, over to you, just a few words, and then we will then take it from there. Ingrid? Ingrid, can you hear me?
Just check if she's not muted, Tabane, because sometimes
she's not muted, and I'm also asking her to unmute. I don't know whether she's having maybe connectivity challenges or not, but it's not a crisis. What I'll do, my leader, let's maybe jump into one of the presentations, and then after that we will then maybe come back to them. I don't know if that is fine as well.
I think it's fine with me. I think we can, because we're already late with the program, we can continue with the next presentations.
All right, thank you. Thank you very much. Colleagues, that was an introduction from one of the founders of Tsogo, or the Tsogo Road Safety Program, at Mr. Tatomo Tlhabane, just outlining why the Tsogo Road Safety, why this program, how it's going to benefit you as a participant, having been in the WhatsApp groups and now the formal workshop. And like I was saying, that we have our partners that we have partnered with that are also the main sponsors of the program, which is the Road Accident Fund. And they are here with us this morning. I'm going to give them some time to just do a presentation. I know we have our trusted comrade Thabo Makwala. He's going to take us through a presentation here, the Road Accident Fund, and how they work with young people and people in general in communities, how they have a mandate to sort of be those people that are responsible for road safety and accident and claims and all those things. So he's going to come through and he's going to give a very key presentations. But what I'd like us to do is that let's be very attentive. You know, this online things, you tend to think that you can have half of your attention and focus on something else, and then it doesn't work out at the end of the day, because you don't benefit the type of beneficiation that we want you to get. So please, colleagues, if you have a pen and paper, this would be a right time to take notes, first of all, of the presentation. This is a government agency that is mainly responsible for road safety and accidents on the road in terms of claims and how you can benefit. So please, you need to write down questions that you're gonna question the presenter once he's done, but also you need to take notes for your own personal benefit, so that you can understand more on how the Road Accident Fund works. I'm just waiting for our comrades to make Mr. Makwala, or he's already a co-host. So, Tate Thabo, I'm going to hand over to you. The people of KZN await your presentation. If you have a presentation that you want to share, please, you are also welcome to share with the screen. I see that you are not joined in via audio, but I'll just give over to you. And thank you very much, Thabo. You can come through. Thabo, can you hear me?
I think Tabang, he says he's got a bit of a challenge in terms of connection. If we can just give him 2 minutes, maybe he can continue to speak something.
All right, thank you very much, Tato. All right, we just having. I see also he's not joined in with audio. I think that's the main problem. Tato, if maybe you can call him on the side and just ask him to join in audio. I also texted him in the chat group. That would be very much appreciated. While we are waiting for Thabo to sort of connect, Ingrid, are you able to maybe come through and just give a word from the Oliven Development Association? Hello, Ingrid? Okay, I see Ingrid is also here. Hi, how are you?
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, ma'am.
Yes, yes.
Okay, a very good morning to all. I'm not sure if I should put on a video on, or is it okay when the video is muted?
You can put on the video. If it does not disturb your connection, then that is fine.
Okay, just a brief background. Oliven Development Association is an NGO around Gauteng that partnered with the Tsogo Foundation to really put out there a weight on the issues of safety. And we are focusing on the youth of Gauteng to come and be part of this program. We really appreciate the opportunity that the RAF has given to us as one of the NGOs that are still working on the project of road safety. And we really appreciate all the members. Thanks.
All right, thank you very much, Ingrid, for that just brief background. The Oliven Development Association is one of our partner organizations that we partnered with in order to execute the Tsogo Road Safety Program, and we really appreciate their support in this regard. I see that Mr. Thabo Makwala is back to do the RAF presentation. I'm going to give him the platform. Mr. Thabo, over to you. The people of KZN have been waiting. Hello, Thabo.
Hello.
Yes, yeah, we can hear you, sir. You can proceed.
All right. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, colleagues in the Zululand. We hope you're doing fine down there. We were hoping that we would be doing this thing face to face with you guys, but the COVID-19 pandemic has affected a lot of things, including how we run our meetings, how we do our programs, and so forth. Yeah, my name is Thabo Makwala, as they mentioned. I'm the road safety manager at the RAF. I'm sure some of you out there, the KZN works together because of it. KZN is one of the provinces that I frequent. I work a lot with the Provincial Department of Transport, Tsogo, Bongani there. We do a lot of road safety programs together, and then we support most of their road safety programs. So my role here is just today is simple. It's just to talk about the RAF, who we are, supporting Abutrum's foundation in this program. I normally tell people that RAF is one of the most famous or the well-known government entities in South Africa, mainly because of the nature of our business. We give out cash to people, so almost everyone knows about us. Once one is involved in an accident, the first thing that they think of is the RAF. So that's one thing that's making us famous. So yeah, we report directly to the Minister of Transport, and our main mandate is purely compensation of those who are injured as a result of car crashes. But then also we exist purely to indemnify. I don't know what's happening here. But then we also purely to indemnify the wrongdoers. I like explaining this. Indemnifying, because of a lot of people don't understand when we say indemnifying. Before the RAF, what happened was that if two people are involved in an accident, the victim will always come back to the wrongdoer and sue them for lodge civil claims against them, so that they can compensate them for the pains and sufferings that they've caused them. So now, after the RAF was established, the government decided, they said, you know what, we're going to compensate the wrongdoer for their sufferings, but then we also need to stand in on behalf of the wrongdoer, so that the person who is a victim doesn't come back and sue the wrongdoer. Now, we spend over 40 billion every single year compensating the victims of road crashes or victims of accidents every single year. And based on the number of claims registered on an annual basis and the number of accidents taking place in the country, the RF board decided to establish a road safety unit that would play a supporting role to the Department of Transport and the Road Traffic Management as our leading agency in road safety. So our unit was then established back in 2013, and since then we've done a lot of road safety programs. When we started, we looked at who's doing what in the country and who's not doing what. We realized that people are just shopping ideas, just looking at what our Australian counterparts are doing, and then we want to come and implement it in the country. There were a lot of programs that were not informed by the challenges that we face as a country. So we decided, you know what, let's sit, analyze the statistics, look at the legislation, and develop programs based on that legislation and the statistics, or the statistics that would then tell us what challenges are we facing as a country. Then we developed several road safety programs. One that is famous throughout the country is what we call a child restraint program. In this program, we distribute car seats throughout the country. We've worked a lot with the province as well in KZN. We've worked a lot in different hospitals distributing these car seats. We developed this program mainly for a few reasons. One, the amendment of the National Traffic Regulation, which now requires motorists to restrain children when traveling with them. This amendment came into effect from the 1st of May 2015. Now, so to encourage people to comply with this regulation, we decided to come up with a program that would speak to this legislation. But then also we looked at what research is saying. We looked at the statistics, and we came across the PhD students from UNISA, and their research indicated that back in 2014, the country was bearing over 600 children every single year, mainly because of being ejected during a car crash. So we developed that program to try and reduce fatalities within the country related to young children. But then also, if you drive around or if you walk around, you'll always find us South Africans, especially Tina Abantu Mnyama, you'd find a parent, Thabo, and his wife driving. They've both buckled up, but their children is not buckled up. Their kid is not buckled up. You'd find the kid standing in between the car seats, and you ask yourself, if both parents are safe, they're buckled up and they're safe, what will happen to the life of this young one who's standing in between the car seats? So those are some of the things that we preach throughout the country to try and save the lives of the young one. Then we developed a second program. We call it a defensive driver program. Within this program, we're targeting mainly our public transport operators or professional drivers, whatever you might want to call them, for one main reason. If you skill or you equip a bus driver with safe driving skills, you would be saving thousands and thousands of lives. I'll give you an example. If I drive a bus and then I ferry about 75 people per trip, and I do about 10 trips, it's about 750 people that I ferry every single day, which then means I have saved about 750 lives every single day. So take that and multiply that by the number of bus drivers throughout the country. I haven't started talking about taxi drivers. We've done so far offered this training to, I think, over 7,000 bus drivers throughout the country since 2013, and we continue doing that. Our annual target every single year is about 3,000. Then I've also been given a target to train about 1,000 motorcyclists every single year. We've got a program that we named Practical Safety Training for Motorcyclists. The reason why we did that was that back in 2013, the RF was registering about 500, 600 claims related or associated with motorcyclists. But then, wow, the economic growth, boom. You were seeing hundreds and hundreds of our brothers buying motorcyclists, and they do that without getting proper training. They just get a learner's license, get finance, and they own a motorcycle. Now, when we started that, we compared the statistics. 2013, we were talking about 400 or 500 motorcyclists claiming from the RAF. 3 years later, 2016, 17, we're talking over 2,000, 3,000 motorcyclists who are claiming from the RAF every single year. So you can see that the number of bikers is increasing in the country, mainly because of the economic growth. Secondly, maybe the economic conditions of the country, the social conditions of the country encourages somehow encourages people to go and buy motorcyclists. So we're seeing more and more accidents related to bikers, mainly because of they don't get proper training. So we encourage them to get licensed, to get proper training, so that they can be safe and be there for their loved ones. We also do a program called low-cost infrastructural interventions. I've done a lot of speed humps around KZN together with the Department of Transport. With this program, we look at areas where there is a high visibility of pedestrian movement. We also look at an area where there is a high traffic of vehicles, and it's taking place maybe closer to schools and all those things. So we talk to municipalities, we talk to the province, and then give them the statistics and show them the number of accidents taking place in that particular area, and request them to give us permission and specifications to come and install or erect speed calming measures in that area. Once we get that, we appoint a service provider who then goes down to KZN and implement the interventions. And once we finish, we then hand over the infrastructure to the municipality for future maintenance. So we've seen a lot of reduction of accidents or accidents in areas where we've done. I was giving an example yesterday to a group in Limpopo, telling them that there was an area where the RAF would register claims, fatal RAF would register claims for people who died, and the numbers would be between 87 and 110 every single year. So since we erected the infrastructure or the interventions, the numbers have gone down to between 20 and 30, and we're hoping we would get down to zero in future. And then we also have a program, we call it a Youth Driver Development Program. Through this program, we are targeting youth. Our main target, actually, in fact, was youth or matriculants who don't have funds to go to school. So what we would do is that we would, through the municipal offices, we would identify per municipality at least 20 candidates, and we enroll them into the program. We pay for their learner's license, we pay for their driver's license, and then we pay for their provisional driver's permit. The main reason why we did that was wanted to contribute to the reduction of employment by providing our fellow South Africans with a tool that could assist them in terms of getting employment. I'm sure you've seen that most of the positions in the country now, or advertised positions, one of the requirements now is a driver's license. So if one doesn't have a driver's license, they struggle to be shortlisted, or they don't get shortlisted, and they struggle to get a job. So we provide them that. We provide them with a tool that would help them get a driver's license. We started back in 2016, and we've worked well with premiers in different provinces, 20 learners that we did in Gauteng, especially the female ones. We help them markets, help them and for work, prepare them for interviews and so forth. And most of them now, they're working. We always send emails or they call and say, Mr. Nogola, thank you very much for the program. Extend our appreciation to the entire management of the RAF. So we have seen a lot of results as far as contributing to the reduction of employment misconsent through this program. But then also, from the road safety perspective, for me, the main reason was that you have realized that, I'm sure you have noticed, especially in KZN, there was a spike, 2014, 15, 16, a spike in truck accidents, and most of the truck drivers were found to be of foreign origin. So what we wanted to do was to create a cadre of young professional drivers within the country, especially the ones that would want to pursue a career in driving, and maybe become truck drivers and bus drivers. So we would, after completion of the code 14, speak to the Road Freight Association and SABOA, being the busing industry, to help us place these candidates in positions as buddy drivers. Through that, we're hoping that they would learn how it is to be, or they would see how it is to be a truck driver, how it is or how it feels to drive long hours and long distances, and we sort of wanted to prepare them mentally before they could be enrolled. And you've seen a lot of protests, especially in the case that truck drivers saying they're not employed because companies are taking what we call employing foreign nationals and national savings and all those things. So these are some of the things that this program was trying to also have a program, should I say a program, or let me say a program, in which we partner with provincial departments, we partner with non-governmental organizations or non-profit companies operating in the transport space. We get thousands or hundreds and hundreds of invitations. I get about maybe 10 invitations every single day for road safety programs from a lot of non-governmental organizations, and then we try as much as we can to support. We've got a footprint. We've got we've got offices throughout the country, and where we are not able to be there physically or personally, our regional offices is always there to support. So we do partnerships. In the sense that you invite us to do your own planning, and then say, this is what we're hoping to achieve now. And we would like to invite the RAF to be part of the program. We come down, we join your program. And where possible, we try and assist where we can with some logistics, depending on the time and the nature of the program. And also, we work a lot with a lot of non-governmental organizations, NPCs. Some they call themselves public benefit associations, NGOs, and all those. It doesn't really matter whether you're an NGO, NPO, or NPC, or PBA. We work a lot with those, and then we provide funding. How do you provide funding? We accept a lot of proposals from a lot of individuals. However, we are very, very, very strict when it comes to proposals. I've just given you the programs that we're conducting. Tomorrow you get a proposal from someone who says, we want to distribute car seats. The RF committee is not going to give you funding to do something that they are already doing, that the organization is already doing. So what they want is a unique program. Look for programs that are a very unique program that have a direct impact as far as road fatalities are concerned. Those are the ones that they normally support. You see. So we will I'll leave my contact details, my email address, and contact number should you need clarity on some of the things that I just said on how to prepare a proposal, and submit it to the RF, or send your proposal if you've got one already, and we'll take it from there. Now, so road safety. Why are we supporting this program? As I indicated, we are looking for unique programs that would have an impact as far as road safety is concerned. One of the challenges in the country as far as statistics is concerned is the youth, people between the age of 17 and 35. That's where the problem is. Now, Abu Dhabi came up with a proposal saying, you know what, we need to get involved to get all NGOs through the country involved and have programs that would non-governmental organizations operating in the space of road safety. So that for us was a very, very unique program, and then we decided to grab the opportunity and an opportunity, or has how can I put this? The program has a chance of, or the RF has a chance of engaging with more than 1,000 youth throughout the country through this Tsogo road safety program. So yeah, that's who we are, what we do, and in a nutshell. I would take the questions or answer the questions during the question and answer time. Thanks a lot, Taba.
Thanks a lot, Tabo, for that extensive presentation. I see there's already questions in the chat box. Just note that, just go in the chat. There's already a question for you waiting. But I see people have started raising their hands digitally. So I'm gonna take 5 questions for Tabo before we go to the next presentation. I see Ayabulela has already raised his hand. My leader, I've noted you. Is there any other people? Just raise your hand. If you're struggling to raise your hand, unmute, and then we will answer your question. So Ayabulela, you can come through with your question.
I don't know if you can hear me. Can you hear me?
We can hear you loud and clear.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, we can hear you loud and clear.
Okay, so I've heard Mr. I don't know if Mr. Tabo saying they also support the matriculants to obtain their driver's licenses. So my question is going to be, what is their selecting criteria? Is there a certain criteria that they use to select those particular students? And my last but not least question will say, from which schools do they do their selection? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ayabulela. Your question has been noted. While I also check other questions on social media and on the chat.
All right. Thanks, Tabo. Hi, Ayabulela. Yes, my name is Tabo. The criteria that we use is it's fairly simple. We wanted people with matric and don't have funds to go to school. So what we do, we work directly with municipalities in the provinces and ask municipalities to identify people for us. Normally, the ward councillors are the ones are in a better position to say, you know, Tabo's got matric and he doesn't have money to go to school. They know their families that they're dealing with. Age-wise, we're working with candidates between the age of 23 and 34. Why 23 and 24? Because of our program involves those who want to do or pursue a career in driving, or they want to become bus drivers and truck drivers. We looked at our neighboring countries, or what legislation is saying in those countries. if you look at, I'll give you an example now. You drive a truck in South Africa at the age of 22, and then you cross the border, you go to Namibia at the age of 22. You are now an illegal driver because of their laws saying you need to be at least 23 to drive a truck. So the reason why we said 23 is mainly because of that reason. So those are the two criteria that we use: age and the matric certificate. Also, it's important that one is identified for us by the municipality within which they reside. Thank you.
Thank you, Thabo. In the chat, there's a question from Ingrid. So Ingrid basically wants to know whether if someone, for an example, is a drunken driver, skips a stop sign, bumps into someone, and the person who was crashed into then goes and opens a case with SAPS and a civil claim, what then happens in that instance?
All right, a drunken driver skips a stop sign and then injures a pedestrian. Obviously, the RAF would have to compensate the pedestrian. They can't go and lodge a civil claim against the person because of the state is there to stand on behalf of the wrongdoer, which is the drunken driving. Now, the law will still take its course, whether the guy was not licensed or was not was drunk to the limit. RF doesn't interfere in that space. All what we do is to compensate those who are injured, to compensate the victims. Amapoisa will deal with the drunken driver at a later stage. Yeah, thanks.
All right, thank you very much, my leader. There's also a follow-up. Is the person asking the question is also asking what happens if both were driving? So if it was not a pedestrian in this case, it's a drunken driver and an innocent driver just driving, and then the drunken driver drives into the other driver.
The sober driver is obviously the victim in this case, so the RF will compensate the victim. Let's say, for example, both people died in that particular accident. The RF will compensate the victim in this case, and the guy who was who's at fault is the guy who was drunk, who skipped the stop sign and caused the accident. RF doesn't cover that person. Our current fault-based system, we always look for fault. There must always be somebody to blame. So we cover the one who's not to blame, and we don't cover the one which we blame.
All right, I think that is clear. I see there's more questions coming in from the chat. Just maybe Thabo, you can also just look at the chat. There's just some people who are seeking for clarity, but we've done justice to the question as far as I'm concerned. Thank you very much, Thabo. I see there's no longer any more questions to you. Thank you for that a very extensive presentation you just gave on what the mandate of the Road Accident Fund is, the type of initiatives you fund, and why you fund non-government organizations who are doing programs such as this. We thank you for that presentation. We're going to move right now to another government agency, the Transport and Training Authority, TITA. We have Ramudise from TITA. He's going to come through and give a presentation on what the Transport and Education Training Authority does. Mr. Ramudise, the platform is yours. You've been made a co-host. If you have a presentation, you can share it on the share button. I'm going to hand over everything to you. Mr. Ramudise, over to you.
Hi, good morning. Thank you very much for inviting us to this program. I will quickly go through the presentation
And Dr. Ramudise, just a quick one.
One
Dr.
has
Ramudise?
prepared
Dr.
on
Ramudise, can you hear me?
of teacher.
Ramudise?
Yes. Hello.
I don't know. Yes, I'm saying you are breaking very
yes,
badly.
I can hear you.
Yes, I'm saying your line is breaking very badly. I don't know whether it's the network
Hello, sir.
or. Yes, sir. I'm saying your line is breaking, and it's breaking very bad. I don't know whether it's the network.
Oh.
Colleagues, are you able to hear Ramudise, or maybe it's my side? He's breaking badly.
Yeah, maybe it's a connectivity. Let me try another.
And now you are fine, Ramudise. I think you can continue.
Colleagues, you know these platforms, we are having technical difficulties. We just want to make sure that the teacher gets enough time, and also we are able to clearly hear their presentations. We just want to give Ramudise a few minutes to just try and sort out his connection. Ramudise, if you can maybe try and talk again, and let's see what happens this time.
Yeah, let me try another line. Just
no, wait. You are fine now. You are fine now.
Oh, okay. No, if you're trying to share,
you can continue sharing the screen and then take it from the top.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. I hope you can see the screen now, and I'm also audible. Okay. No, thank you very much. About teacher, basically my presentation will be going through those points highlighted. I'll share with you about teacher, the governance thereof, and then we'll talk about the teacher strategic goals, what our mandate is, and what we have prioritized in this financial year and the next 5 years, and what our goals are. I will also give you our operational overview so that you can understand how to interact with us, and also share with you our primary function, because our function is primarily skills development and training. Then I will more importantly talk to you around the issue of road safety and our relationship with this program and what we do and how you can access opportunities with us. And I will close by sharing with you how you can participate in TITA programs. In terms of the next slide, let me just remove this. Okay. I seem to be losing picture here.
On our side, we are still seeing your presentation, and Dr. Ramudise, I don't know what's happening on your side.
Oh, you can still see it. Something happened on my side. I'm not too sure what is it. Otherwise, if I will stop sharing if I can't, and then I will just take you through the presentation then.
Maybe just try to move to the next slide. Let's see if it will change on our side. Ramudise, are you still there?
Yeah, I am. I'm not too sure what is it that you're seeing on your side.
Right now, you stopped sharing, so on my side, I am not seeing anything at the current moment. Maybe if you can try and reshare again, so that we try and get this right before we give up on it. Okay, I see that you are beginning to, yes, we can see.
You can see all host of things that I'm working on now, I guess.
Yeah, now we can see like your full screen where you are now going to open, maybe try and open a slide, do a slide, and then just skip to the next slide as you talk.
Yeah. Let me stop sharing and exactly do that. Okay, maybe I should just continue. If you can hear me, let me just continue with the presentation without you seeing it there. Because I think there's a conflict between when I share the screen and because of the connectivity issues.
Okay, no problem.
If you don't mind, that's it.
No, you can continue without the presentation if you can able to do it. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. The long and short of transport SETA, which is TITA, it is one of the 21 sector training authorities that are in the country. We're established in terms of the Skills Development Act, and we report to the Department of Higher Education and Training, but we service the Department of Transport. At TITA, we have a governance structure which we report to, which is made up of employer organizations and labor unions that participate in the transport sector. And the Department of Transport also sits at our board. Our current responsibility now is to ensure that we implement the National Skills Development Plan 2030 within the transport sector. Our mandate is basically divided into 4. We implement training on road safety, just to assist in alleviating road carnages. So meaning we do some work with the Department of Transport, with all the road safety agencies that are available in the country. We ensure that employers and young people access training and education in the workplace. And that includes your graduates, your matriculants, and unemployed people. And we ensure that skills development in the country is aligned with industry, and more importantly, it is aligned with national priorities. And we also collaborate with universities and TVET colleges to ensure that whatever they teach is aligned with what the industry, the transport industry wants. We have about 12 priorities, but I won't go through all the 12 priorities, but I will just touch on what is relevant for this workshop. We do research just to ensure that we remain relevant, and we invite employers to participate in our programs. We ensure that we promote the 4th Industrial Revolution initiatives, and we also develop SMMEs. The reason for us working with SMMEs is that the majority of businesses that operate within the transport sector space, 80% of them are small companies we do work with rural areas. We do run some rural development projects, and we have also projects that seeks to develop leadership, meaning leaders in our transport space. And that we also do in relation with universities that are abroad. So we do leadership international exchange programs. And what has emerged now, since the pandemic has befallen us, we are working with the transport sector in ensuring that we contribute towards curbing the spread of the coronavirus. And as far as our key strategic goals currently, we are working between what we call the skill suppliers, meaning your training providers, be it private, be it public, and the employers. So we are in between the two and in ensuring that there is a strategy in place for post-school to ensure that youth have access to work experience in order to improve their employability. So from an operational point of view, we have segmented or divided the
Ramudisa, are you still there? Colleagues, sorry about that. We seem to have lost Ndate Ramudisa. I don't know whether it's connection or what's happening. Colleagues from Tsogo Road Safety, can you please try and get Ramudisa back? I see he's also disappeared from the list of participants mid his presentation. And we're also trying to assist Ramudisa by sharing his presentation from our side and just trying to keep track with where he was at that particular moment. So I'll just wait for him to come back. I'm looking for him. Okay, I'm looking for him to come back. Ramudisa, if you are still in the meeting, can you maybe say something? Okay, he's back. He's back. Dr. Ramudisa, the platform is still yours, sir. Ramudisa, can you hear me? All right, let's just give him a few seconds. Let's just, colleagues, also I see that there are people who are saying are unable to raise their hand. Without disturbing the meeting, you can able to unmute yourself and talk when we open for question and answer session. I just wanted to make that categorically clear that if you are unable to raise your hand digitally, you can have an opportunity to just unmute yourself when I take questions. I see Sakile Zimela has a hand up. My leader, I'm just going to give you a second just to say something, a few seconds before we get Ramudisa back on. Is that a clarity-seeking question or are you having a different issue? Sakile?
All right. Greetings once again, everyone. So my question was directed straight to Mr. Ndate Ramudisa regarding the international a scholarship, something like that. So in terms of what is the criteria in for the selection for the people to be able to partake in such programs, and how can someone be able to apply for such? I thank you.
All right, we will note that for you when the Ramudisa has to respond to questions. For now, we're just trying to get him to finish his presentation. And Dr. Ramudisa, are you back with us? Ramudisa? Ramudisa?
Hi.
Yes, you are back.
Good day, sir. I think I am back with you.
Can you just maybe continue from the last time you remember when you are still connected?
you know, I won't know from my side. I mean, I don't know at what point did you lose me on the other side.
I
Then
think
I can
on my
take it
side,
from there.
the last thing I remember, you were explaining who sits on your board. You were explaining that the Department of you are under the Department of Higher Education, and also the Transport Department sits on the board. I think that's where I lost you. I don't know about other colleagues. Maybe if you can just take it from there.
Yeah, it means then I've been talking alone for a long time.
Sorry about that.
But
Maybe just
it's okay.
summarize that beginning of the presentation. And then, yes, and then
Yes,
just take it.
yeah, okay. Let's first establish if I am okay connectivity-wise. Is that okay?
Connectivity-wise, you are perfect. You are very clear. You've never been this clear.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, I've just connected to another line. Yes, if I were to take it from where the in terms of our establishment at the board, I'll skip that. Then I'll go to our priorities. Then I'll touch on the most important things, which is the our role being as and institutions of learning from private to public. Then I will quickly run through how we have divided the transport sector from a skills development training point of view, where we have the aerospace, meaning everything that happens in the air and in the airports. We are involved there, and then we are also involved in terms of forwarding and clearing, that is the importing and exporting of goods, and freight handling, which deals with more of your warehousing of goods. And we also operate in the maritime sector, where there is everything and anything that happens in waters. Let me not say that the sea, because we also have maritime inland at the dams. Then we also operate in rail and in courier services and transportation of goods, and obviously in the public transport space, where the issue of road safety now kicks in. Then in terms of our primary function is divided mainly into 5 things. The first thing that we do, we develop a transport sector skills plan for 5 years. As I said, we do that through research. Then that will tell us what does the transport industry need as far as skills development is concerned, and what do we have as skill suppliers on the other side. Then we have a regulation that we are implementing, which is called the grant regulation. This grant regulation basically is assisting us to get funding. We get our money from companies that are in the transport sector, and they pay a skills levy to us, and we use that money then to can run our programs. Then we also establish funding and learning programs. So the learning programs that we are mainly funding are the programs that have been developed by the transport industry, for the transport industry. And on an annual basis, companies submit their workplace skills plan for us to make the necessary funding so that we can also use the workplace in the country are. The reason being that we want to channel our unemployed youth and students that are in the high schools into proper careers that are in demand. And we are also doing quality assurance, meaning we issue nationally recognized certificates for the programs that we are funding. Then when it comes to how one can actually work with TITA, maybe before I go there, let me touch on the issue of road safety within TITA. How do we come into the road safety space? Remember, I said we are reporting to the Minister of Higher Education. However, we do work for the Minister of Transport. So when it comes to road safety, our role is basically what we do is we have strategic partnerships. And those partnerships that we have are through memorandum of understanding that are responsible for road safety. We also do road safety awareness campaigns, and we also fund accident prevention projects. That also includes your scholar transport. We work with municipalities, we work with provincial governments, we work with TVET colleges, we work with universities as a matter of emphasis. When it comes to funding opportunities with TITA, every year we advertise funding opportunities, and that we do between July and October of every year. Annually, we set out targets, we invite NGOs, we invite community-based organizations, we invite training providers, we invite small companies to apply for funding to assist us to implement our annual performance plan. We also accept project proposals. These project proposals can be submitted throughout the year. However, they need to be needs-based, meaning for you to submit a project proposal, the first thing that you need to do is to familiarize yourself with TITA priorities and have a copy of our strategic plan and our annual performance plan, which is available on our website. Then study that, and based on what is there, you can submit a proposal to assist us to implement. And we also do direct learner bursaries, meaning around July or so, or early August, we advertise for learners to apply for bursaries. And those bursaries, we will list qualifications that were determined through our skills plan, and learners who qualify can then apply for those bursaries. And our bursaries are full bursaries. They cover for everything that a learner may need. Those are the funding opportunities that we actually have at TITA. And then how to participate, which is very important. Except the direct learner bursaries, meaning a student from a college or a high school can apply directly to TITA. In the main, TITA works with registered companies to give them funding. And it is these companies that then assist us to implement our mandate. And for you to participate, the main thing is that you must be a registered company. You must have a registered company which is registered with the Companies and Intellectual Properties Commission. You need to be registered again on the Central Supplier Database of Government. You also need to have your tax matters in order. And where possible, if you are a levy paying, you must pay levies, but if you are not, you're a small company, you don't pay levies. And then we encourage people to participate in TITA workshops and seminars. Go to our social media, see our offerings there, and you may also seek guidance. And again, as I said, you need to identify what TITA is all about, and that you can do by having access to our strategic plan documents available on our website. And we have 3 offices in Gauteng, Durban, and Cape Town. I will share the details of those offices. However, where we don't have offices, we have direct contact with the offices of the various premiers. We within all the provinces. We have presence in the Department of Transport in all the provinces. And we also do annual road shows and other stakeholder capacity building workshops. So I will just stop there by having given you the high level type of presentation. I didn't go into the actual projects that we are funding, because I believe that this is not a reporting platform, but it's a platform where, as TITA, we are just sharing how young people or any other person that wants to work with us can be able to do so. But what we encourage is that we encourage people to create employment other than to seek employment, and that they can do with some of the projects that we are running, because we are working closely with the employers. Let me pause right there, and then I will answer any direct questions that may be coming from the floor. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. And Dr. Ramodisa, I've seen in the chat box, if you can maybe check our chat, there's some questions that were raised in terms of bursaries and scholarships. But I'll also now take questions from colleagues by either raising your hand electronically, or if you are unable to do that, you can also unmute and speak to us. I see there's Lindoguhle. Lindoguhle, you are noted. Sakile, you are noted. Any other questions, colleagues? Maybe if you're unable to raise your hand electronically, you can unmute your mic and say something. Anyone with a challenge with raising their hand electronically can unmute the mic right now and say something or comment or question. Okay. In the case that there isn't anyone, Lindoguhle, you can go ahead, my leader.
Yes. I just want to ask you, what is happening to the containers? There are many containers in the transport issue. Do they distribute to the young people, or do they distribute to the community, or they're just disposing those containers that are carrying goods to outside the province or outside the country?
Okay, noted. Sakile? Sakile?
Okay. I don't know if you can hear me.
We can hear you, sir.
All right. My question is directed to Ntate Ramodisa about the exchange programs that he mentioned with the international relationship, in terms of what is the maybe criteria for someone to be able to be chosen, and secondly, how can one apply for such programs as young people? We need to be access to have access to such programs. I think.
All right, my leader, thanks. And Dr. Ramodisa, before you answer, is there anybody who has a question? You can unmute your mic, and if you have a direct question to Dr. Ramodisa, you can unmute and say something. Anybody amongst the participants going once? Going twice?
Hello, how are you?
I'm fine.
Greeting to everyone. It's good. My name is Percival Ngumalo. Thank you for a great presentation from Tate Ramodisa. I think I was one of the beneficiaries from TITA, I think 2017. I've got a qualification on it, but I never saw any opportunities on the sector. Thank you.
All right. Is there anyone else who are struggling to raise their hand and can unmute their mic and pose a question to Ramodise?
Good afternoon, everyone. Okay, it's good morning, actually. Sorry about that. My question to Dr. Ramodise is, number one, where exactly in Durban are you based, meaning your offices? And my second question is, for the people who have been doing this kind of job, like a scholar patrol or helping the kids cross for years, but who may not have these booklets or this information that you're giving, how do we rope those people in order to assist them as well in terms of capacity building and showing them that the work that they've been doing is valued? Thank you very much.
All right, thank you very much, Sanele. I'm going to stop this round of questions. I'm going to open another one after this so that Tate Ramodisa has sufficient time and can answer all of them satisfactorily. Ramodisa, you can come through.
Okay, thank you very much. Let me start with the questions that I see on the chat box. There's a question from Kanyile. Kanyile is asking, how do you qualify for quality assurance program? Where it is based? Okay, Kanyile, quality assurance is an activity that we do. We don't do quality type of training. And quality assurance from our side is mainly to accredit people who want to start training companies so that they can have a license to can train people within the scope of our qualifications. If your question was, how does one get accredited and become a training provider? That information I can give it to you. Actually, you can just send me an email, then I will give you all the necessary guidance and documentation that you need to complete. But the main thing is that you need to have a registered company first to get accreditation from TITA. And there was a question from Percy Numalo. I think Percy also called in, where Percy is saying that he is a beneficiary of a TITA program in 27 and he is currently unemployed. Now, the question is that I did the program, but now I am unemployed. Then that means this program perhaps did not add any value on my progression as a young person. What I would need from Percy is to get to know what program did he do actually, and then we can actually take it from there. Because the programs that we have skills programs, which are short programs, but those skills programs, they lead to a full qualification, meaning they are part qualifications. Then you may need to complete the full qualification to derive value from having been trained. And then the other thing is, if you may have done let's say a learnership, and you
Ramodise, I don't know if it's my line. Dr. Ramodise?
Yes,
can you just take it from the programs which you do? I think you got lost a bit after saying the programs which you do.
Oh, okay. I was talking about Percy. I think I was responding to Percy.
Yes.
Where I was saying to Percy, he may need to talk to me directly to check what program he has done, whether it was a skills program or a learnership, and in what field, in the 8 subsectors that I have shared. Then we can take it offline and see how we can assist him. But what I can share with him is that because our programs are linked to employers, there are instances where you find that, yes, you go through a program and you are placed at an employer, but you find that as you are placed at that employer, you may not necessarily, be performing or showing interest in the very training that you are doing. But I'm not saying that is the case. We are willing to work with Percy and see that the program that he has done has actually added value to him. And then I'm still on the chat box. Can you, a person involved in an accident, but okay, no, that's not related to TITA. And how you can organization register to work with this department to extend such program on the ground? I actually don't understand that question. How do someone with the qualification but doing this work voluntarily, helping kids in informal settlement, for the person to be roped in or help to transform the formal sector? Maybe I will answer that question in relation with the question that was asked about where our offices are exactly, because this program is for people who are in KZN. Our offices are in Morningside, Pitamukaba Ridge. I will share the contact numbers so that you can call and get the exact physical address, but it's easy to find on Pitamukaba Ridge in Morningside. But you must remember, since the country is under lockdown, okay, we are at level 2 lockdown, our offices are not yet opened to the public. So it's better for us to deal via email that you need. Then there was a question out there. Do these containers being given to communities or anything like that? I said at the beginning, our mandate has to do with skills development and training. There is a container port, I know, in Durban. If that person can maybe liaise with the container port and find out how those containers, whether they can sell them or anything like that. But I've seen there are people who have opened up businesses where they convert containers into classrooms, they convert containers into toilets, they convert containers into offices. And if you need more information, you can privately talk to me or through Abuti Rems, so that we explore that opportunity of reusing containers for other purposes. There are a lot of people who are using that kind of a business. And then I think
Ramudisa, you see, I think there's Unkosi Kona that you didn't understand his question. I see he's also raised his hand here. Unkosi Kona, can you maybe come through and explain it verbally? Maybe we can capture it and then Ramudisa can respond. Unkosi Kona? We have seemed to have lost. Okay, Unkosi Kona, come through.
Hi guys. I'm not sure if I'm audible.
You're audible?
No, actually, the question was to say, I think the first question which was not captured was, maybe that is my mistake in writing the question. I was asking with regards to the organizations that are in communities that does the work which is part of what has been presented, but they don't have access in having relationship or in working with such department in order for their program to actually, benefits of the public even more better with the support of those departments. To say, how do those organizations then create the type of relationship and work with the departments moving forward? that was one question that I posed there. And the other one, I wanted to say, how does someone without formal qualification, but I just said someone with qualification, to say someone without qualification, I think Sanel also have posed a question to say, how do that person get assisted? The person has been assisting children to cross the road. The person has been helping in fighting crime in school, because they most work with schools, but they're just people in the community that are just doing this because it's something that they enjoy, and again, because they are not employed. But how do we then transform that person to be in the formal sector, or to be part of the sector, or benefit from the sector on the work that they enjoy and on the work that they are doing, because they are actually helping the community a lot in terms of preventing this road accident, especially for kids that are in primary school.
All right. Thank you, my leader. Ramudisa, before you respond, there's also a hand raised from Sakile. Sakile, you can come through. Sakile? Sakile? Okay, we seem to have lost Sakile
Oh,
there.
all right. Greetings, 1 second. But I just want to again clarify my question, because I see that has not maybe understood my question in terms of what is the criteria of someone being selected for the exchange programs, and how can one be able to partake in such programs?
Oh,
Thank
okay.
you. And then Percy, I see Percy is also raising his hand. Percy, we're running out of time. Please summarize your question.
Okay, on it. I just want to do a follow-up on the question that I've raised. My qualification is based on forwarding. I think you understand it. I did it through the college. It was a two-year qualification. I just wanted to follow up on that question. Thanks.
All right, Percy, you can also engage Ramudisa privately. Ramudisa, just in short, please summarize. We're out of time for this session.
Oh, okay. Yeah, quickly. Let me deal with the criteria for the exchange program. The exchange program that we do is for leadership development. So basically, it is for people who are in leadership in organizations. Then we expose them to the international side of doing things. However, we do have exchange programs for TVET graduates, where we, like last year, we took learners who qualified at TVET colleges to China to do their practicals there, and they came back. Now they are working this side in South Africa. So in view of our current situation, which we hope we will pass very soon, such programs are on hold. The issue of a person who does work, and let's say the example was given, crossing roads, helping people to cross roads, and another person perhaps is active but does not have a formal qualification. And how do we help these two individuals? I will go back and say to the audience that with teacher programs and many other government funding opportunities, we are working with formally registered entities. And those entities can either be an NPO that is registered with social development, or it can be an NGO that is registered, or it can be a cooperative, it can be a company that is registered. So it is very important for people who want to do a business with any other government entities to do it through a registered entity, meaning you cannot come to TITA, for argument's sake, as an individual and say, I am helping people to cross the road, and then please assist me. what we will advise is to say, maybe with the local municipality in that area, TITA can partner with the local municipality in that area and identify all common or similar people doing the kind of work that is more or less the same, and group them together and assist them under a formal partnership that we have with a local municipality. So what I may advise such people is to go to the local municipalities in their LED, local economic development offices, and ask the municipalities to partner with TITA so that we can have such noble and nice projects to can fund. And similarly, through the Abuti REMS program, we can identify all these other people that don't have formal qualifications, but they are economically active and they want to be supported. Then we group them together and establish some kind of a flagship project which can be funded not only by TITA, but also by other road safety agents like your RAF, your RTIA, your local Department of Transport, even your provincial departments. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ramodise. I hope you're going to be with us for the rest of the session. We also want you to participate in the panel discussion. And would like to thank you and welcome your presentation, which was very informative and insightful. And with that, I want to close this session of presentation from our road agencies. And we're going to move on, colleagues, to a very important session now, which sort of ties in very well with the two presentations, because the RAF presentations spoke of partnering with organizations on the ground and implementing road safety program, which is primarily what this workshop is about capacitating young people to be able to find themselves partnering with your TITAs, your RFA, your RAF, and just doing the work that needs to be done to be able to curb the road carnages that everyone is talking about. I mean, we've seen what has been happening ever since the alcohol ban has been lifted, and there's just a whole lot of things that are happening. So we have an expert in terms of what you call the business model canvas, how to make a bankable business case, or how to create a functional business or organization or whatever it is entity that you're trying to do. So Dr. Rosh Mamabolo is going to just come through and help, because we have a number of entrepreneurs, a number of social entrepreneurs, a number of young people participating in the road safety space that are in the Zoom meeting with us today. So we want you to keep your attention span very high for this session. I was going to take a break, but because of time constraints, we're not going to do any body breaks today. We're going to jump straight into it. Dr. Rosh Mamabolo is ready. The presentation is going to be shared on the screen. So as you are taking notes, you'll be on the side able to view the presentation from Dr. Rosh Mamabolo. It's the business model canvas presentation. It's a very extensive model, but because of these platforms, are going to cut it very short to about a 30 minutes presentation. And please do take notes, do prepare your questions. And I'm going to hand over to Dr. Rosh Mamabolo to take us through the business canvas model. Dr. Tokotel, if you are ready, the people are yours, the audience is yours. And we're also going to share these presentations. I know we'll share some of the information that Ramodise was sharing, and some of the information that Thabo was sharing, and also some of this presentation will be shared. Dr. Rosh Mamabolo, the platform is yours.
Good morning. Good morning. Thanks, Thabo. Tabang, sorry. Thanks, Tabang. And thanks to Tato, Abuti REMS, Thabo Makwela, Ramodise. Thank you. I'm going to briefly take you through the business model canvas. We usually do this presentation over a day or so. So I'm gonna try and run through it in 30 minutes. So please, note your questions. and maybe at the end you can then ask, and then we can have a discussion afterwards. As I've been introduced, my name is Rashma Mabolo, and I'll take you through a crash or a sprint of a business model canvas. Basically, what this means, a business model canvas is, it's a document that you use to see how your business looks like on one page, right? And often what I've seen entrepreneurs do is, you know, they leave their business to the success of their business to luck. So they have this idea, and then they will always say, you know, I hope and I pray and I wish that my project can be a success, that my project can be accepted by TITA or by REF, and they leave their business or their program or their NPO to luck. And I think, you know, that is not how you should actually be building your project, your NPO, or your business. There's a proper way where you can actually build your business. And the first step in building that is what we call a business model canvas. So it's basically your business in one page. So you're able to see the entire program, the entire NPO, the entire business in one page, and you're able to see how that business or how that program works. So I think that's the idea of the business model canvas. Let's test this business or this idea that you have before you approach RAF, before you approach other funding organizations. Does this idea that you have make business sense? Will you be able to make money out of this idea? Will you be able to create value out of this idea? Will you be able to be impactful and save lives on the road with this idea? So what is a business model canvas? Basically, it's a logic of how your business or your program creates, delivers, and captures value. So it's how are you going to do this thing? So yes, you have this idea to save lives on the road. Yes, we have this idea to help students, you know, get learner licenses or even secure their driver's licenses. But how are you going to do this step by step with your idea and all this passion that you have? How are you going to do this? And this is where the business model comes in to say, this is how we are going to create value and how we are going to capture value. Okay, so the next slide, you know, it's basically, I have a product, I have a service, I want to deliver this service or this product to my customers or to road users or to drivers or to pedestrians. How then will I be able to derive value? How will I be able to make money out of this idea or this program, right? And how will I be able to sustain this project that I have from a financial point of view? Because if your business or your idea or your program or your NPO does not have a sustainable financial plan, your program is not going to last. After a year or 2 years, it will collapse. So, and this is why you need a business model to be able to see how you're going to sustain your business or your program. Okay. So the next slide is about having this idea in one page. So it's a canvas. It's on one page, so you can see it all in one page, right? So, and you can start doing that exercise now as I'm talking to you. You know, pull a blank page, have a pencil or a pen, and let's start, you know, populating this blank canvas or this blank page with your business idea, and let's take it step by step. By the time I'm done with this presentation, you'll have a sense of how your business would look like in one page, and you'll be able to see where the gaps are in your business, how you can improve certain things, what are the things that you still need to pull in. And that's what a canvas is about. It's your business or your program on one page, on a canvas, and you'll be able to see how your business will operate in one page. Okay, so there are 9 steps or building blocks and this is how your canvas will look like. These are the items or the components that we'll be going through in terms of drafting your business business model canvas. By the time we are finished, you should be able to see all these items of your business or your project and how they will look like and how your business will operate, or your idea or your program. Okay, so let's go through it. I'm going to go step by step, 9 building blocks. So I'll take you through all these 9 building blocks step by step. As I'm going through it, start thinking of your idea, start thinking of your program, start thinking of your NPO, start thinking of your business, and start thinking, how is my business looking like, as I go take you through the 9 building blocks. And these are all the 9 building blocks: partners, activities, value propositions, customer segments, revenue, costs. So we are going to go through all this in the next 20 minutes. And if you have any questions, note it down and let's discuss afterwards. Okay, so the first one is, and as I'm going through this, I'll be using as a case study, I'll be assuming that I'm running a scholar patrol. So I'm trying to save the lives of scholars on the road as they go to school. You know, they get hit by cars and all those kind of things. So this is my case study. So as I'm going through the 9 blocks, I'll be applying those principles in those blocks to my case study as an example, right? Okay, so the first one that you need to start looking at and start thinking about clearly is what we call customer segment, right? So who are your customers, right? It's important that you know who your customers are. And one of the mistakes that we tend to do as entrepreneurs that I've seen do is they want to say, REF is my customer, or Teta is my customer. Those are not your customers. The mere fact that you're getting money from them, it doesn't necessarily mean they're your customers. They might be your funders, they might be your partners, but they are not your customers, right? So who is going to pay for these services that you are rendering? As a scholar patrol, who's going to pay for this thing? But before you even get there, you need to be able to identify who your customers are. Who are these people that you are saving through your project or your NPO or your program? So it's very important that you're able to understand who they are. Where are they? You know, remember, your customers don't exist for you. You exist to serve them, right? So I'm trying to save lives. Who are these people that you're trying to save their lives, right? Where are they? You know, what's their age groups, right? So you need to be able to know who your customers are very clearly, because these are the people that you exist for them. Without them, your program, your business is not relevant. So in my Scholar Patrol case study, my customers are my students. They are scholars, right? So in the morning, I have to make sure that my scholars get to school very safe. And after school, they leave school, they get home safe as well. So my customers are my scholars. I've identified them. My primary customers are my scholars, you know, and their age groups. These are, you know, from primary and high schools. These are my customers. Where are they? You know, if you're in the rural areas, urban areas, you'll work it out. My target customers are in rural areas, or are in urban cities or townships, in busy places. This is where I'm going to find them. They are young, they are students, they are in urban areas, townships, you know, they are in busy spaces. When can I get them, right? Maybe they don't have spending patterns, but I can get them during school terms. Maybe during school holidays in December, they're not available, but when in January onwards, they're available. Those are my customers. Again, it's important to also understand the difference between who your customer is, who your consumer is, right? Customers are people who pay. Consumers are people who consume. So those are the people who use. So often the two are the same. You find that if I go to a restaurant, I order food, I'm a customer because I'm paying, and I'm a consumer because I'm consuming, I'm eating the food. But there are instances where the two are not the same. So you'll find, for instance, that my consumers, the users of my service, are the scholars who cross the road. But the people who pay me are not the scholars. Maybe the people who pay me is the school, is the sponsor, it's Outsurance, or any of these other insurance companies. Those are my customers. But my consumers are the people who are using my services. So it's important to know the difference between the two, right? But again, know who your customers are, you know who they are, what their age groups are, where are they, how do they spend their money, and are they the people who are consuming and paying for your service? So crystallize that, know them, know your customers. Without your customers, you don't have a program. Without your customers, you don't have a business. So that's the first thing. The second thing is, what value am I giving to these people? So I have identified who they are. I know who they are. I know where they are. I know their age groups, their demographics. What value am I giving these people that I've identified, right? So back to my Scholar Patrol example, right? So if you look at, for instance, we have identified these are the students. We've identified they are young. We have identified that they go to school in the morning and they come out in the afternoon, and we are trying to service them. So what value am I giving to these people? Ultimately, I'm giving them road safety, right? I want them to be safe when they get to school. I want them to be safe when they leave school and they go home. That's the value that I'm providing to these customers of mine. So I want healthy scholars. I want productive, so that they can spend their time focused on schoolwork and not stressed about crossing the road in a busy intersections. There's buses, there's trucks, so they're scared. They get to school late. And sometimes they get to school late, they get punished, and their school day is ruined. So the value that I'm providing to these as customers of mine is safety, is the fact that they're not going to get hit by a car or a bus or a truck, and they're able to focus. It's a peace of mind that they're able to focus on their studies, and they're able to learn and be productive at school. So that's the value that I'm offering. So firstly, I know who they are, where they are, how they spend their time. I know them, age group. But secondly, I know what value that I'm offering them. So it's important to know that I'm offering these people, this is the value. And don't just focus on, I'm just doing Scholar Patrol, stop sign, when there are too many cars and they cross the road. That's not the value that they are getting. The value that they are getting is a peace of mind. The value that they're getting is safety. That's the value that your customers are getting. They're not getting the product itself. They're getting what the product does for them. So that's the value that you're offering them, right? So it's important to think of what value you are offering your customers. So I've identified who they are. I've identified the value that I want to give to them. So these are the two things that I have identified for them, right? So let's move on to the next one. So the next one is, how then, having identified who these customers are, having identified the value, how do I get my value, right, from myself to them? How do I get them to be able to access this value, right? And I think this is where, I don't know if you can hear me. Tabang, can you hear me?
Yes, sir, we can hear you loud and clear. Continue.
Can you hear me? Sorry.
Yes, yeah, you're right.
Yes, we hear you loud and clear. Raj, you can continue.
Right. No, I just wanted to make sure. All right. So the next level is, how do I then get to take my value from my premises, from myself to my customers? And this is where channels come in, right? So what channel am I using to get them to access these services? So if say, for instance, I'm running a learner driver service, right? The value that the channel that I'm going to use is for my customers to come to my premises, and so that they can be able to register, and I'm able to take them into a car, and I'm able to help drive them around. That's the channel. They have to come to me, right? If I'm doing learner lessons, I'm training them how to write a learner license, they have to come to a room that I have, and they're able to then be able to take, I'm able to teach them, and I'm able to test them in a specific room. That's the channel that they're accessing me. If maybe, for instance, as a result of COVID, and now we social distancing, lockdown, they can't come to me. The channel that I can use is I can do the class online. So that's the channel that I'm using. So is it a physical channel? Is it a website channel? What channel are they using to access my service? So if you're running an NGO or an NPO, what channel are you using for your customers to access your services? Do you go to them or do they come to you? Or is it online, or do you all meet online, right? So is it a website? Is it a Mr. Delivery? Is it a walk-in where they come to you? Is it a mobile service? Is it an online? Is it a, is it a download? What channel are they using to access your service? So back to my Scholar Patrol case study. Now, with my Scholar Patrol case study, the only way my customers can access my service is for me to physically be on the side of the road. So I have to take my team, we go to the side of the road where it's busy, where there are a lot of scholars have to pass. That's our channel. We go there, busy main road, we set up our staff there, and then we start operating stop go services. That's the channel. We physically have to go there to do our business. And sometimes if sponsors want to contact us, we might have a website, we might have an email. That's the channel that they can use to communicate with us because they want to sponsor us or they want to send us some information, and we have an email. We might even have a phone where they can contact us. But our primary customers, for them to access our services, we have to go to where they are. That's the channel that we're using. So again, I know who my customers are. I know the value that I'm offering. I know how to get my value to them. The fourth aspect is what we call customer relationships. How do I build relationships with my customers, right? So it's important to also have that relationship with my customers so that as they grow with me. As I grow with them. And if for instance you have relationships with TITA, RAF, Tsogo road safety program, build those relationships with Abuti Rams, with Tabang, build those relationships because these are the people that you're going to need as you take your program forward. Don't just focus on just getting funding, because I've seen a lot of entrepreneurs who do that. I just want money. So you just do a smash and grab approach. You get money, you are gone. They don't get to hear of you. The next time they hear of you again is when you want money again. So this relationship is just you wanting money. You don't build that relationship. You don't retain that relationship. You don't grow with these people. So it's important that you build a relationship with your customers. Again, avoid a smash and grab approach. So back to my case study of the Scholar Patrol, make sure that you know your learners. If there are learners who've got disabilities, that have to cross the road, you know them, you are able to help them. If they're elderly people who have to cross the road, make sure that you build that relationship with them. If you've got sponsors, for instance, or you're looking for sponsors, build that relationship with your sponsor so that they can know you, they can know what you want. Build that relationship with them. They might sponsor you with not necessarily with cash, but they might give you tools, assets, right? Build that relationship, send them reports, statistics. If you are doing a Scholar Patrol, have a relationship with the principals of the schools around where you are doing your Scholar Patrol services. Build those relationships. Relationships are important. Remember, people do business with people they like. People do business with people they have a relationship with. And again, you make more money from your current customers than from your new customers. Why is that? Because with your current customers, you don't have to convince them. You don't have to spend time marketing to them. You don't have to spend time pitching and proposing to them. But because you service them, you have a good relationship with them, when you come, they will approve of your new project because they know you, they know how you work, they like how you work, they are able to build that relationship with you. If there's anything new that they want to do, guess who they're going to talk to? They're going to talk to someone that they've built a relationship with. So it's important that you build that relationship with your customers, right? So customer segment, value proposition, channel, customer relationship, all these 4 components need to give you money. You need to be able to get revenue coming into your business, so, right? Again, we spoke about no customer, no revenue, no value that you're offering to them, no money coming in. If you can't get your value to your customers, they will not be able to pay for you. If you don't have that relationship with them, they'll not be paying you over a long term. So all these four aspects, they give you revenue streams. It's important to also start thinking about how are you going to bring revenue into your business, right? So what I've seen also, the mistake that entrepreneurs do, or people who are running NPOs and organizations do, is they focus on one revenue stream. So if somebody is paying them, they sponsoring them, they focus on just sponsorship. They don't focus on how are the other possible revenue streams that we might have. So let's use, for instance, we use you're running a learner driver service, for instance. And so your customers that come in, they pay for you teaching them how to drive. So they get into a car and then you teach them how to drive. And that's the only source of revenue you have. But there are other possible sources of revenue. You can use your car that you are using to drive them as an advertising space. So you can use it for people, local businesses around, to paste their banners on your car as you're driving around. Your car is also a moving billboard, and those people who are advertising on your car can pay money. So say, for instance, they pay 500 every month, for instance, and you get 5 businesses or 4 businesses that are advertising on your car that you're using for learner drivers, right? You have about 2,000 or 2,500 every month as part of revenue. That is a lot of money, and it's a money that you can get, not necessarily even you, because it's not your main source of revenue, it's not your main source of business, but it's additional business money that you can get into the business. If you have a website, you can use that website to advertise other people's businesses and they pay you, right? That's money coming into the business. Don't just focus on one revenue streams. There are multiple other revenue streams. So back to my Scholar Patrol, there might be sponsorship fees. Maybe I get assurance to sponsor me, or another insurance company to sponsor me. I might get contribution from the school or from the community. I might do fundraising events where I do road safety awareness events, and in the process I'm raising funding. I might get donations. I might run advertising space. We know those scholars, they have this bright things that they wear. Maybe somebody might sponsor those that safety wear, and we put their name on the safety wear and they pay for that, right? So there are all sorts of revenue streams that as entrepreneurs we need to start thinking of. So those are the 5 aspects of your business model canvas, right? And if you look at your canvas, on the right side of your canvas is involved with money coming into the business. It involves with how do you bring money into your business, right? Customers, value proposition, channels, and showing some love, building those relationships, and all those things will bring you money. The left side of your business model canvas is involved with money going out of the business. So we know how the money comes into the business. We know how the money comes into the program, into the NPO. We are happy with that. Now let's see how we spend the money going out of the business. Now we need to buy key resources. So we need to have, if I'm doing a Scholar Patrol service, I need to have, for instance, the stop sign, the gear. I need to have all these things. If I'm doing a learner license program, I need to have manuals. I need to have a car that I'm going to use. So these are the key resources that I need to have. So without these things, I will not be able to run my business. So without key resources, I'll not be able to service my customers. I'll not be able to deliver value. I'll not be able to get that value to them. I'll not be able to make money, right? So what are the key resources that I need? If I'm into production, I need the machines. If I'm into consulting, I need an office. If I'm running an agriculture business, I need to have, farming, all those things. If I'm doing a road safety program, I need to have the resources that will help me to be able to run that program. So back to my Scholar Patrol case study, I need to have safety clothes, right? My team needs to have safety clothes, and that's key. Without safety clothes, I'll not be able to do Scholar Patrol. I need to have signage. I need to have those stop signs. I need to have cones on the side to show that there's a traffic warning happening around. I need to be able to train my team. So I might need training manuals. I need to have a website. I need to have a phone so that I can talk to my team and we're able to plan properly. So those are the key resources that I need, right? So these are once-off things. So these are not the things that I'll be paying every month, but these are once-off things. I need to have my key resources. In your project, in your business, what key resources do you need, right? And it's important, write it down. If you can get quotations for these key resources, get quotations, have a clear idea of what key resources do you need in your business, right? So then the next step is, now that we have these key resources that we need, what are the key activities that we need to perform, right? Once we've got the safety clothes on, once we've got the signage, once we've got the road markings on the side, what then do we need to do? What activities do we need to do? So if I'm running a learner license program, the key activities are the students come in as he's got a learner license. He wants to now go for a driver's test. I'm testing them. They come in. These are the key activities. Before they get into a car, they do pre-trip inspections. They get into the car. They check the safety and all those things. They start the car. That's a step-by-step process that I take them through, right? If I'm running a scholar patrol case study, for instance, the key activities that we need to do, for instance, we need to arrive on time. We need to be on site on time. So if school starts at 8 o'clock, we need to be there at least 7 o'clock, right? We need to do a roll call. So they all line up. We do a roll call. We check who's there, who's not there. Is everybody fine? Once everybody is there, we put on our clothes. We set up the signage. We put all the cones outside. We get the team to be in safety visible attire. We take position. We monitor the traffic. And as the students come in, we do our work. After 8 o'clock, once the learners are in school, we finish off. We report any incidents. If there's nothing, we sign off the date. No incidents reported. If there were any incidents, we write off. These are the incidents that took place. Next time, we need to do things differently. These are the key activities that we need to know how to perform. So it's important to know what you are doing. So a lot of entrepreneurs, a lot of programs, they come and say, I want to do this thing, please give me money. But you don't know the key activities of what you need to perform, right? So it's important to know step by step, step 1, step 2, step 3. These are the key activities that we need to perform, right? The next is, who are my partners? Who are the people who are going to help me run this program successfully, also in a sustainable way? So identify who your key partners are. Who are these people that you are bringing on board? So if you're running a scholar patrol program, right? So you're going to need, for instance, schools around in the area to be your partners, right? So it's important that you partner with the schools around. The school principals, they know you. The teachers, they know you. It's important that you partner with them. It's important that you partner with the local municipality, because they need to give you permission to set up your thing on the side of the road. So the bylaws and all those kind of things, you need to make sure that you don't break the bylaws. So your municipalities are your partners. Insurance companies or sponsors or any other company that's sponsoring you are your partners. Traffic authorities are your partners. Government, Department of Transport, RAF, TITA, all these other SITAs are your partners. You need to make sure that you are partnering with these people. If you are running the scholar patrol in, for instance, in rural areas, your local chiefs and traditional leaders are your partners. They need to know that you are there. You need to have spoken to them. They need to have given you their blessings. You need to pull all these partners together. This is not only just about you, right? It's a community project. Bring the community as stakeholders into your project, involve them. And some of them might bring resources. They might say, we like what you're doing, we'll give you the license to operate. We like what you're doing, We actually have safety clothes that we can give you. We like what you're doing. We actually even have umbrellas or raincoats for in case it's raining and you're out there. We'll donate all these things. So bring your key partners, involve them into your program. They might actually even fund and sponsor your program, and you'll find that you don't even need to go and raise funding. But because they are there, they're able to also assist to get your program up. And some of them might even teeter, for instance, they do training. They might say, oh no, that's nice. We have a training program, come through, we'll train your team, and you guys will be up and ready to go. So involve your key partners, and they might bring all these other things that they have with them, right? So the last, and these are your partners, the last will be, how much is it costing us to run this project or this NPO or this business? Now, this is where you then have to pull your budget, your cost structure. And right there, how much is it costing you, right? We need to have a website. So we need to pay for hosting rights. We need to have data for our phones. We need to print manuals. So based back to my Scholar Patrol example, maybe we are making enough money, we can pay our patrollers some stipends. So we give them some stipends every week or every month. We give them some stipends. We need to buy them some safety clothes. We need to get some signage. We need to print manuals, training course, websites, mobile data phones. So put all this thing to say, how much is this costing me, right? And have a budget. Know exactly how much it costs you to run this project, so that when you go and ask for funding somewhere else and they ask you how much do you want, you are ready. You know how much you want. You've got your budget. You've got your quotations. You know how much each and everything costs you. You know how much you're going to spend every month to keep the project running, right? So it's important to have that. So all of this is what we call a business model canvas, right? Customers, value proposition, channel, building relationships, looking at other possible revenue streams, key resources, what are the assets, what are the things that we need, key activities, what activities do we need to run, who can we partner with, traffic corps, municipality, RAF, and how much is this all costing us? So all that in one page, you are able to see your business and how it operates, how you bring money into the business in one page, how you spend money going out of the business, all in one page. And from there you can say, okay, now I see all these things in one page. How do I grow this thing, right? And then you can start thinking of other possible growth opportunities. I can actually move from just Scholar Patrol. I can just go, to busy intersections anywhere in the city where there are a lot of traffic intersections, and I can start doing Scholar Patrol there. Maybe we secure a sponsor who's going to sponsor us to do Scholar Patrols, not Scholar Patrols, but traffic patrols anywhere. We can do holiday patrols at beaches, at busy shopping malls where there's a whole lot of traffic going in and out. We can actually go there and do a traffic patrol. We can do patrol at churches, at conferences, right? Where there's a church conference, there's a lot of cars going in, there's a lot of cars going out. We can patrol there. We can do safety camps. We can do road safety and sports programs, all these initiatives. But you can grow this thing once you have done your business model and you know how your business works in one page. And then from there you can grow it and you are able to attract other sponsors, attract other stakeholders. So in a nutshell, that's what your business model canvas is. You can see, you can bring other projects, you can do other things, you can bring other companies to sponsor you, and you can use, they are paying you to have their name visible on your safety clothing. That's money coming in, right? So start thinking of those type of opportunities. On that basis, thank you very much. Again, businesses don't fail because of a lack of a good idea or because of a lack of a paying customer. They fail because we have not planned them properly. So plan your project, plan your NPO, plan your business properly, and you'll be able to sustain it. Thank you. Thabang, any questions?
Thank you very much, Dr. Roche Mamabolo. Colleagues, I'm going to allow for a question and answer session for only 5 minutes because of time constraints. So if you would like to ask a question, either type it in the chat box or say, raise your hand. I have Spiwe, I have noted you, don't talk yet. Any other questions? Raise your hands, colleague, virtually. Any other person? Spiwe, I've noted you. Any other person? If you're unable to raise your hand virtually, you can send us a text or you can unmute your mic right now and shoot with your question. All right, Spiwe, you can come through with your question.
I don't know.
Hello, Spiwe? Spiwe? Spiwe, do you have a question?
Like it doesn't go through.
Spiwe? Okay, we seem to be having an issue with Spiwe there.
Maybe you should check if he's unmuted.
He's unmuted, he's trying to talk, but we cannot hear what he's saying. Spiwe?
Tawan, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Oh, okay. Dr. Racha, my question is, I just want to find out if you want to have such an initiative that we have mentioned in terms of road safety, because at my community, actually where I stay, we don't have those kids whereby they've been taught about the road safety and the precautions, and we only just see few traffic cops and none of the school learners, they get involved in terms of that. Plus, you know, R573 is the most dangerous roads, especially when it comes to accidents. It's the high road in South Africa. So I just wanted to find out if I want to launch such initiative in terms of school safety, what measures needs to be followed.
So thanks for that question, Spiwe. I think you know, as we're doing the canvas now, I think that's, for me, that's the first thing, right? So start plotting your idea on a canvas. So start with that, you know, identify who your customers are. So you can use this as an example, for instance, as a start, right? So start identifying who your stakeholders are, start identifying them, you know, for instance, I'll give an example. So the value proposition would be, for instance, in your case, would be that busy road that you're talking about, and maybe there are incidents of high traffic accidents, for instance, right? So you can identify that space and then start drafting your business model around that. Start looking at who your stakeholders are. So firstly, you might need to, for instance, talk to the local municipality, right? Talk to them, you know, sell that idea to them, involve your traffic cops, because I'm definitely sure they would love some initiative like that, because it will make their work much easier, because sometimes they might not necessarily be there, but if they know that you are there, they know that you're running that service. So identify who those stakeholders are, identify what you're going to need. So get quotations for safety clothes, road signs, cones, all those things. Get quotations for those things, and start approaching, you know, your RAF and all these other people. Look at what their mandate are. Look at if they fund those type of projects, and then start proposing to them for funding, right? Start talking to local businesses around to see if they would mind advertising their businesses on the safety clothes so that their names can be visible. And most businesses would like to get involved in projects that are benefiting the community. And for them, as a sponsorship, they would like to be seen as businesses that are doing good for the community. So you'll find that they are willing to sponsor for the clothes, for all that you need. But you need, by the time you approach these people, you need to have done your homework first, which means you need to have done your business model. You need to have, identified where your revenue streams are going to come from, where your money is going, the key resources that you're going to need. So my advice would be, start plotting your business model canvas and start approaching the key stakeholders with a proposal. Make it short, don't make it too long, and start talking to them, get them involved. Remember, it's a community thing, right? So start getting the local chiefs, tribal leaders, your local political leaders, ward councillors, and all those people. Involve them so that they know. One of the things that I've seen a lot of stakeholders get frustrated about is they just see things happening and they were not even informed, especially the key primary stakeholders. So involve those people, and you'll be surprised as you involve them, they'll actually be willing to assist you with some of the things that you might need. So I would advise you to go ahead. I think it's a good initiative. It saves lives, and I'm definitely sure that a lot of people would definitely want to partner with you or assist you on that program. But start with the business model canvas on a one page and look at, how is this thing going to work, all in one page. Where is the money going to come from? How are you going to spend the money? And then from there, start approaching the stakeholders that you have identified.
Thank you, Dr. Roach. I see Pamandla, and there was Menzi also had their hand up. Pamandla, you can come through.
No, thanks, Chair of the session. I don't know if you can hear me proper.
We can hear you very proper, sir.
No, thank you, and greetings to all the colleagues that are within this workshop. One would like to firstly welcome the presentation. It's very productive through a lot. Maybe I want to check with the program that speaks about school patrollers. I heard that most of the times people who deal with them, the NGOs, then the doctor said that they provide funding for those NGOs. So I want to check if a certain NGO is saying now that, or a company, I have this program of these schools in a certain area, you give them funding. Do you go about to do oversight in checking them if they are following all protocol needed as per your presentation, and also to do the oversight on what do they provide for schools? Because I think sometimes we will then have a certain NGO coming to seeking for funding, but when you go to the grounds, you find that the job has not been done. So I want to check if oversight visit, do you do oversight visits, or do you do some sort of the investigation with those surrounding schools? Thank you.
Roche, Dr. Roche, just before you answer that, I see there's an issue there that might not be in your scope. But let's just give the last colleague to ask a question. Percy, you can come through and ask a question.
All right, thank you again. My quick question would be, Doctor, do you render basic training on entrepreneurs or NGO for BMC? Because I find it very tricky and we need a practical skill on it. Thank you.
All right, Dr. Roche, you can just go ahead and answer the two questions and we need to move on to the next session quickly.
Okay, thanks. Let me start with Percy and then I'll finish with Pamandla. Thanks, Percy. Yes, we do. As part of the, and I'm sure maybe Thabang also later on, they will sort of outline what the process is going forward. But yes, we do have those type of trainings on business model canvas, business planning, and all these other things. But I think as part of this program, we'll outline, and I'm sure maybe towards the end, Abuti Rems or Thabang will outline what you guys will be able to access as part of this program. But yes, definitely, you can access those training services. So thanks for that. And then Pamandla, an important question. Thanks for that. I think I was using the Scholar Patrol as a case study, as an example. I myself don't fund, but I'm sure, like what Abuti Thabang was saying, that it's out of my scope. But I'm sure as part of, that Thabo Makwele was talking about earlier, that they do fund certain projects. And then also TETA also, they do fund certain projects. So I'm definitely sure that within their mandate of funding, they would want to ensure that all the people that they fund are, are able to service the mandate according to the funding terms and conditions. So it's very important that and as I was saying earlier on, that we don't want a smash and grab approach, where people just want money, they get the money and they're gone, right? We need to be able to build long-term relationships with whoever, all the stakeholders. We need to be there, and we need to build a long-term relationship. And when we do that, there'll be more funding coming through, But you are raising a very critical, important question of oversight. I don't work with the funders, but my experience is that they do oversight. If they're not, they're supposed to. They're supposed to do oversight to ensure that you are meeting the mandate or the requirements or the terms and conditions of the funds that they've given you. But even if they don't do an oversight, I think we all need to be responsible citizens as well. And we need to also, do our part, and be impactful. But it's absolutely important that we, it's a good question. Yes, they need to do oversight. I suspect they do. And I'm sure later on, they'll also have an opportunity to respond. I suspect they do, or they should do. And NGOs that are given funding. And I think it's important also, NGOs that are given funding should not only rely on funding of, for instance, in this case, of RAF as the only source of revenue. That is not sustainable. That's not going to sustain you. There might be too many accidents, and the next thing, RAF does not have a budget. We have had those instances where government will say, this year we don't have a budget, or something happened, or COVID happened, and then we had to channel all the budget that we had for projects towards relief programs. You know what I mean? So for the sustainability of any NGO, try and start thinking of your NGO without getting funding from anyone else, but you self-funding your program. Start thinking like that. As the funding comes from RAF, from TETA, from government, that will be a bonus. But if it doesn't come because COVID happened and funds had to be reallocated elsewhere, you need to be able to have those activities, sponsorship, fundraising, advertising space in your programs and things like that, where local people are funding, churches, conferences, all those kind of things. So let's try and be innovative in how we find funding outside of just the NGO funds that we get from government. But let's be responsible citizens, and I'm definitely convinced that we have responsible entrepreneurs and NGOs on the program, and I have no doubt that they will use the money responsibly. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Roche. Menzi, I see that you have your hand up, my leader. We have run out of time, unfortunately, but we will squeeze you in when we do the panel discussion. So just maybe type your question on the comment section. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's fine. That should be okay.
All right, no problem. Dr. Roche, thank you very much for the powerful and informative presentation on the business canvas model. And would like you to also just stay, maybe if you can also participate maybe in the panel discussion when more colleagues want to maybe ask questions to you. Thank you very much, Dr. Roche, on behalf of the team and the participants. We're now going to move to the next session, colleagues. We're not going to break because of we started quite late. So our next speaker on the program is Abuti Rems, the founder, one of the co-founders rather of the Tsogo Road Safety Program. He's gonna do a crash course in social media in 20 minutes. But because it's my leadership, I know he's gonna do it in 15 minutes. But by 12 o'clock he'll be done. Abuti Rems, the stage is yours, sir.
Wow. I don't know if I can do that, but yeah, I will try my best. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Hope that you are doing very well. For the purpose of this session, I'm going to stop my video, but I just wanted you guys to see my face. Hello, this is me. Apart from that, we are going to be speaking about driving road safety education using social media. So via social media. As introduced, my name is Thabang Phala, but also a lot of people call me Abuti Rems, and I am the founder of Abuti Rems Foundation, but also collaborated with my friend Tato to do what we call Tsogo Road Safety Program. I'm an entrepreneur by profession, and I know, like, back in the days, we didn't have this thing called entrepreneurship as a profession, but now we can call ourselves entrepreneurs by profession. But I'm also a digital strategist. So I do digital strategies for companies and organizations and whatnot. Enough about me. So we're going to cover a couple of things on road safety with regards to road safety education using social media. So the first thing is going to look into the creative content of it. The second thing will look into social media case studies that we're going to look at. And because of the interest of time, I'm going to also plug in home task. So if you have received the program, excuse me about that. If you received the program and it said that home tasks are going to be done at the last part, I've squeezed it into my presentation as well, so that we can save time. So onto my presentation. The first part is the creative content. So we're going to be looking at how do we actually create content that is very creative in order for us to drive road safety education using social media. So why the need for social media on road safety education? This is important. Why do we need that? We need this thing because social media networks or social networks are the best platforms for increasing public engagement and promoting positive behavior on the roads. So, and again, that it is predicted that almost all the countries around the world will use social media for promotion of road safety education between 2018 and 2019. And today we are even seeing it now growing, because a lot of people are actually dying on the roads, and then we are seeing all these reports on social media. If you go log onto your Facebook now, you see this accident. In the morning, I saw Arrival Live. They posted an accident that happened on the N1 in Midrand this morning, and where a truck driver passed away, and he came out of the window. It was just a horrible thing. And then he just passed away on the scene, but at least it didn't harm a lot of people, but it was only him who got harmed. So we need to now use social media to educate people about the road safety, but also do promotion around it. So how do we go about doing that? One, we need to be creating interactive content. What I mean by interactive content is that we need to create what we call infographics. So your infographics, I'll show you a little bit later, but it just shares information in a very nice and graphical way to share your content. Instead of putting a lot of content that is heavy for people, do it in an infographic way. But also you can do what we call creative videos. You can do 30 to 60 seconds videos for your audience in order for you to drive that road safety education. The other way you can go about it is to create informative posters. So posters that you will want to share some level of information with people, but do them in a creative manner. And then the second thing is, post content regularly on social media. So, don't let people miss you on social media. If you are known for road safety, let you be known for road safety. If you are posting other things, people get lost into the process. But make sure that if you have created social media pages, make sure that that content, it is consistent and it is regularly posted. The other thing that you can do on social media is to collaborate with other road safety agencies. Now, the road safety agencies that you have mentioned, you have the likes of your RTIA, RTMC, we have TITA, we have RAF, we have CBRTA, and we also have government ministry, DOT, Department of Transport, and the local municipalities that are within the transport and logistics, and also roads and transport development. Collaborate with those people who have a social media presence, and by collaborating, I mean that you could always make sure that you reach out to them and then tag them in your post and say that this is what we want to do. So examples of those things that I wanted to share with you guys. The first one is with the infographics. Just have a look at this one. So with this one for you know, an infographic that is coming from the World Health Organization, you can see that they were using graphs and, you know, how many people died on the roads within that period. This is an example with 2013 stats. And then you are able to also see you know, the vehicles that were on the road at that time. And then this just shares information in a very compact and a nice way, in a graphical way, instead of, you know, doing, you know, a lot of content that people are lazy to read. And we know that the attention span of people right now is about 45 minutes. And I don't know how you guys survived throughout the session, but I'm grateful that you guys did. So, you know, do we need in an infographic way, makes your content more compact and easier for people to read and understand. Another example that I've mentioned earlier on is with regards to informative posters. So by this, I mean that, you know, do posters that will, you know, have a compelling message, an emotive message that will help people to understand what you are, you know, you're speaking about. We did this thing as Tsogo. An example of this, I mean, look at the one on the far right, which says that it might not be sexy. It's not sexy, but it is safe. You know, this is a reflector. Earlier on, Roche was speaking about, you know, having reflectors and then branded with, you know, people's companies that are sponsoring that. So it's a reflector, you know, that in the evening, when it is dark, you know, you need to wear a reflector so that, you know, the people can be able to see you. And becomes easier for motorists to recognize that there's a person moving on the road. So the other one that we have done, I mean, this is, you know, that speaks to, you know, do not undermine the speed of the vehicle, you know, the vehicle speed. So somebody is crossing the road and they think that the car is still far, you know. So we send out that message on our social media platform to spread that out. And then people were able to see that, and it's a learning poster, it's an informative poster. So you could do a whole lot of this different posters based on the content that you think, but just be creative. You know, most of you here joining the session are young people. You can come up with creative ways of doing this thing. And then the other thing that I wanted to share is a video. I mentioned that we can do short videos, which we call, what do you call these things? You know, 30 seconds or 60-second videos. I don't know if you are able to see this, if you will be able to hear the sound. If you're unable to hear the sound, please let me know so that I'll be able to, you know, play it again. And if you can't, but also I think maybe let me do it before I could even do that. Let me share it again, so that when I share, there is audio for you and then you are able to see it. Okay, then that is perfect. All right. All right. So that is one informative video that I wanted to share with you guys. There's another one that I'll share later on for you so that you can have an idea. But I want to jump straight into the case studies. The case studies that I want to share with you is some of the things that you are very familiar with, and I'm just going to shoot quickly onto them with my remaining 8 minutes. The first one is with the Share a Coke. I don't know if you guys remember, you know, when we were you know, when was that? I don't know, it was, you know, some few years ago, where Coke made this thing of getting people to go to the shops to get, you know, to see their names on the Coke. And that's something that has been happening, you know, Share a Coke, where you run there and you try to find a Coke, you know, and that's something that made a whole lot of noise on social media. If you were on social media at the time, you know, you were seeing a lot of people sharing their names there. There is Sipogazi there. There is, you know, Tando. There's all these people's names put on Coke, and they were really doing so much effort in making sure that people buy Coke at that time. The second one I want to share with you is the fees must fall. Remember what happened with the fees must fall in 2015 is that university students, what they did was to set up WhatsApp groups. And I'm sharing this example because I believe that you guys can also, do, what do you call this thing? Campaigns, road safety campaigns, but use WhatsApp groups and then, or use Facebook groups to gather people. And then once you gather people, then you can create trends on social media, especially on Twitter. And then you create a hashtag, for your campaign. And in this instance, maybe when you can create a hashtag that says being safe is cool on the road, that's something that you could do as well. So this young people who were in varsity, they created this campaign called Fees Must Fall. And indeed, they got some results that they wanted. And then the other case study I would share with you is with the Not In My Name march. I don't know if you guys remember in 2017 where we had, a lot of, men going to the streets and saying that we are really tired of our sisters being killed on the roads. And as today, this week, I think is the last week where we are still speaking about women issues as well, but we still need to continue as it is Women's Month, but let us continue speaking about the women's issues. So this is something that we're done in 2017 about Not In My Name campaign. So it's something that we did on social media. So social media campaigns are easy to do. And the last one I want to share with you guys is a video that was done by Musli. I don't know if you know Musli, the rapper. So Musli, what she had done was to partner with VW South Africa in 2019, which is last year. And she did a video that was very compelling, and then people started asking what is happening because she was now chatting and driving on social media. The next thing, boom, there was an accident. I just want you to see this video, and they called this campaign Monate Wafela. It means that fun can end. Fun ends actually, not just can end, but it ends. I want you to check out this video as well.
If you know any singers, dancers, rappers, DJs who can sing, dance, and rap. Nobody was harmed in the making of this accident.
Stand by and action.
I partnered with Volkswagen and Drive to stop the myth Yamunati Haufeli.
We're going to be doing a lot more on the road. We're going to be doing an emergency stop so that it's very clear.
We've all done it. We've all lost ourselves over the festive season without thinking we may lose our lives, but the risk is real. Drinking and driving causes thousands of deaths on our road every single year. I got to see the impact on those left behind, but not everybody will. Make the change. Take the pledge in 2019. If you know any...
All right, so basically that is a short video presentation, in less than 2 minutes actually, with regards to speaking about how can people be safe on the roads. And we know, some of the friends that we have, some of them, they drive while texting, some of them, they drive while they have drank something. I say to people right now, especially when we're on level 2 of the lockdown, that just stop altogether, drive, like drinking and driving. Don't drink even a sip, let's just be safe on the road. So it's a message that was done by VW and also with Musli. But coming to the task that I want you guys to be doing, we're going to be setting up groups on WhatsApp. And with setting up those groups, we need participation, maximum participation from all the group. Your leaders are going to be setting up those groups, and then they're going to invite us to be part of the groups, and then we're going to organize mentorship sessions. And in organizing mentorship sessions, we're going to further unpack this thing of the business model canvas. In doing the business model canvas to further help you, you're going to develop a business model, and after doing the business model, and then we are going to help you to make sure that you do a proper one for your project. If you are running a project, if you are running anything that involves road safety in schools or whatever, anywhere, and then whatnot, you're going to develop the business model canvas for it. But secondly, we're going to be developing proposals, and then in doing those proposals, then we're going to help you into making sure that those proposals are fund ready. That when you approach TITA, when you approach RAF, when you approach all the agencies, some of them they've presented earlier on, and some of them they're going to present now, then you are ready, definitely ready for for them, and then the proposals are fund ready. But also what the last thing that we're going to be doing is to help you to develop social media strategies for road safety education. So when you're going to develop your campaigns for road safety and put them up on social media, on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, whatever, but we guide you on what messages you need to be putting out and whatnot, and then you are able to do that. So those are the home tasks that you'll be given in order for you to present. Yeah. So thank you so much, guys, for your attention. My name is Abudi Rems, and then these are my numbers for those who want to contact me privately on WhatsApp, and also my email there, rems@tsogo.org.za, in order for us to keep the conversations and then help you to enhance your project. My leader, Thabang, I'm on time. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Abuti Rams, for that social media crash course. And I hope colleagues have taken note of the home tasks and the WhatsApp group that are going to be set up. Indeed, that was a very insightful presentation, as well as some nice key videos in terms of road safety, which is the core principle and the core messaging of these of this program, Tsogo Road Safety. We now want to move on to our panel discussion. I know we're supposed to have some colleagues from the provincial department who have since cancelled, and we will then use some of the colleagues that we have on the call to sort of fill the gap. I know Ramudisa, I see he's still here. He will form part of the panel discussion. And also we have our colleagues from RTMC, who our colleague is, I'm just gonna hijack them. Our colleague, his name is, let me just check here quickly. If we have them, is Ramsom Masipa. I see from Artia here, and we're gonna also have Dr. Roche also joining the panel if he's available as part of our knowledge resource in terms of the business canvas model. But before we go into the panel discussion itself, I'm gonna give Remson Masipa maybe 5 minutes to do a short presentation on what they're about, and then we'll take it from there. Remson Masipa. Noktula, can you please mute your mic unless you want to say something? I see you've made Remson a co-host, but they are not saying anything. Can maybe we assist them, colleagues? Hello, Remsom, are you there? Tato, I see you've unmuted your mic. You can come through.
Okay, Chairperson, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you, my leader.
Okay, thank you very much for the opportunity. My name is Remson Masipa from the Road Traffic Infringement Agency. And I would like to take this opportunity for the Tsogo team for giving us this opportunity. However, I see I've sent the presentation, it's a little bit longer, but now that you've given me 5 minutes only. I'm not sure whether I'm going to, but I'll try my best. The
Okay,
time is short.
maybe if you can summarize everything in 10 minutes.
Okay.
That will help us.
Okay.
Just
Thank
go
you very
through
much.
You can
Yes,
just hold on. You can share your presentation and just go through the key parts of the
Okay.
presentation.
All right.
All
Okay,
right,
thank you very much. Can I go ahead, Chairperson?
Yes, you can go ahead, my leader.
Okay, thank you very much. The RTIA is one of the entity of the Department of Transport. Just like RAF, we also report to the Ministry of Transport as a shareholder. And then our mandate is for the agency to oversee the implementation of ARTO. Now, one can ask, excuse me, what is ARTO? The ARTO is one of the acts which was developed, or it was passed in 1998. That is the Administrative Adjudication of Road Traffic Offences Act, which is Act number 46 of 1998. One of the reasons why ARTO was introduced is so that we can reduce the road accidents or carnages on our roads. As just like we are doing with other road entities, we also make sure that ARTO basically is all about emphasizing the compliance and the change of behavior by road users, because all of us, we are affected by road accident. Whether you're a cyclist, whether you're a pedestrian, motorcyclist, amongst these are all the people that are affected by the accident on the road and the deaths that are caused by accident. As my other colleague has indicated earlier on, the state spent billions per annum to compensate either the people who are involved in accident or either those who pass away because of accident. Those are the money that can be allocated to other programs which are crucial, for example, education. So because of that, we obviously as a state spend a lot of billions annually, which is something that can be avoided. Now we have got the way currently, ARTO is only implemented in Gauteng. That is at the city of Tshwane and city of Johannesburg. But the aim was to roll out this program throughout the country. But because of COVID, this has since been shelved to July 2021. Is then that last year in 2019. Now, one of the things that is going to be introduced is what we call the points demerit system, where the habitual offenders will be, in a way, try to be eliminated among the road users. That is going to be done through what you call the number of points, obviously depending on the nature of infringements, will be deducted. We are all going to start at certain number. At this stage, the proposal is 12. Now, the more offenses you do, the more the points are going to be deducted. That might even lead to... Is there any problem?
No, you can continue. I was just making sure you're still there.
Okay. That also just to make sure that if you are suspended or your license is suspended, you can even be like start afresh, just like from the learner, and then so that this just another way of saying we need good drivers on the road. There are quite a number of the way we are going to incur these points. And either it can be the camera law enforcement, or you can be given on the side of the road by the traffic official. And obviously there's going to be, in one of the acts, or the amendment of the act, is that there's going to be a tribunal, which is going to be established by the Ministry of Transport. We have got other role players who are in the ARTO space. One of the important things is there are the role of the issuing authorities, the DLTCs and the RAs, where we work hand in hand with the municipalities or the metros. That's where the implementation of ARTO takes place. Now, we also have got a number of ARTO forms to be filled, because sometimes you find that, for example, you are the owner of the vehicle, but maybe you have lent or borrowed someone a car, and maybe that person committed an offense. But because in our notice, you find that the system, the driver, the details of that particular vehicle is of the owner. And if you are sure of that particular day that you are not the one who committed an offense, we have what we call Article 7, where you can nominate a driver, and we divert that particular offense to the person who was driving on that particular day, as long as we've got all the details of that particular driver. The other form is called Article 8, where you can make a representation where you may find that you are not in at fault, and then you give the reasons why such a particular offense was done and why should we therefore remove that particular offense. The other one is what we call, when we have reached a stage of we can even just want to get through this, where you have reached a stage where you cannot do any or renew your license or your vehicle. That is the stage where you have reached an enforcement order. That means that you cannot do any business of either renewing your license or your vehicle. That means that we would have blocked you on the system. That is one of the some of the notices that we take under ARTO. Currently, as I've indicated, that the ARTO is active in Gauteng. The other payment platform that can be utilized, for example, we do have payment platforms. For example, you can make your payment at Spar, Checkers, ShopRite, or USafe chain stores. Or you can make your payment at ABSA, FNB, Standard Bank, or South African Post Office. You will recall that currently the Act says that we must be able to send you a registered notice to say you've done this offense, and then on your registered mail. But with the new Act, this can also be done online. And we can even send you the notice through other means of communication. For example, through the SMS or the email, depending on the details that you have given us when you registered to the notice. So those are some of the amendments that were done through the new amendment. In short, I think that's what I can just indicate in terms of our mandate and role. And but I think the organizers, please share the presentation. If colleagues have questions, we can obviously, there are contact numbers that were also shared that can be shared with colleagues. Thank you, Chairperson.
Thank you very much, my leader. I'm just going to take maybe 2 questions if colleagues have 2 questions for you, and then we'll just go on to our next speaker to just give an overview. Colleagues, I see Sanele Hadebe noted. Is there anyone else with a question? Is there anyone else with a question? Sanele, you can come through. Menzi, I see also Menzi. Okay, Sanele, then Menzi.
Is that the only certificate you have?
Yes, good day once again, colleagues. My question to my leader there is based on a case where you come across the SAPS doing a roadblock. And my question is, are they even supposed to be doing roadblocks without the presence of traffic officers, be it your metropolis or be it the NPA police at the SAPS? Because I've had a friend of mine who been stopped by the SAPS on the road, and he was then hijacked because these guys had police uniforms, but there was no metropolis present, or there was no NPA police present. So are they allowed to be stopping people on the road and asking people for licenses and checking roadworthiness, or how does that work? Thank you.
All right, thank you, Sanele. Just before you answer, my leader, Ramson, Menzi, I see your hand is up. You can come through. Menzi? Menzi, your hand was up. You can talk. Menzi? Okay, Ramson, can you just maybe respond to Sanele's question, and then we'll try and get Menzi back.
Okay, thank you, Chairperson. And thank you for the question from Milan. Yes. Come again?
I think the person was Sanele.
Okay, Sanele, yes. Thank you very much. The question is very crucial. At this stage, all the law enforcers, they work collectively. It might be the Metropolis, the SAPS, the Provincial Department of Traffic, and other law enforcers. Yes, SAPS are allowed to enforce because they are part and parcel of the law enforcement team. Yes, they can, obviously, they are given powers to also, if they're having to mend a roadblock, they are allowed to either look or request you for a driver's license, or to look at the roadworthiness of your vehicle. Yes, they are given those powers, and one of the amendments in this ARTO, they are also given powers where they are also going to implement and make sure that if there are any offenses that might have been done, yes, they can even apply those offenses that might have happened during that particular time. Yes, they are allowed to mend a roadblock. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, my leader. I'm just gonna check. Menzi, are you able to come through with your question now? You can unmute your mic and speak.
Okay, Tabang, maybe just it's Tato here, ne?
Yes.
I want maybe to ask Ramson a question. Ramson, thank you so much for joining us today. I just wanted to check, Ramson, if you guys have any road safety projects you guys are currently doing, in particular in KwaZulu-Natal, and you know, also in terms of your enterprise development program, are you guys still doing it? Because I think the idea of the program is that we need to check what kind of opportunities are there for the youth in order for the advantage of them, and what is the career, and where do those opportunities? You know, such programs like Tsogo Road Safety, one of the objectives of it is to ensure that there are opportunities there, and how then do we access those opportunities? Thank you.
All right, my leader, Ramson, before you respond, I see Sanele is back with a follow-up. Sanele, your mic was not clear the last time. Can you just make sure your network is fine, and then you can go ahead and ask your question. Sanele?
Okay, am I audible?
Yeah, you are very audible now. Perfect.
Okay, thank you very much. My previous brother just took away the question that I wanted to ask, but I had a follow-up with the previous question. That in the case, yes, they are allowed to man roadblocks. What are the rights of the motorist at that point who's being stopped? Thank you very much. And how do they apply?
All right, noted. My leader, Ramson, you can answer those two questions quickly.
Thank you, Chairperson, once more. On the first question by Tato, we do have a project that youth can benefit. It's a very long presentation. I'm not sure whether my colleague has joined us today, but I know in the other first meeting, my colleague Siabonga Kwabe was part of the meeting. He is from the unit called Entrepreneur Development. They have got a youth program, which I think on its own, at this stage, I might not be able to do justice by summarizing it, but we can always work together with the organizers. Maybe in another separate presentation, we can make a full comprehensive presentation, because the target for that particular program was for the youth to benefit on what you call, we're going to have, or we are currently having the art or service outlets particularly for the young entrepreneurs. Currently, they are active in Gauteng. The aim is to roll out throughout the country as we roll out ARTO. Then we also target all the provinces. There are plans in place, and obviously as soon as we roll out ARTO throughout the country, those are some of the programs that the youth can benefit. I know previously there was an advert to that effect. There were small, should I say, young entrepreneurs who were identified, but my colleagues could share more information about this. I'm not sure whether Siabonga is in this meeting where maybe he can share that information. If he's there, he can quickly maybe do that. On the second question from Sanel, the issue of the rights, like any other person, if you are stopped by the law enforcers, obviously there are ways of complaints. And one of the RTR is for us to either, we are neutral. We are not on the side of the offender or on the side of the driver. If this type of complaints can come to our attention, we adjudicate properly. But obviously we cannot rule out the issue of crime, because we know that in our country, there are those people, obviously, sometimes they impersonate as if they are the real SAPS. Those are something that we cannot avoid at this stage. But in the real roadblock situation, if they are not happy with any outcome, they've got a right to complain. Particularly if they are traffic-related issues, we are the custodian, where we are going to make sure that we mediate. Thank you very much, Professor.
All right, thank you very much, my leader. We have one of the colleagues from KZN. She's a community liaison officer, Nompumelelo Jobe. Maybe if you can come in and also just explain the role of your department, and also maybe assist to some of the questions the young people have. I don't know if you are able to respond to the questions, but can you maybe come in and also outline what your department does? Nompumelelo Jobe.
Hi. Okay.
Hi, how are you?
Good, and you?
I'm good. You can proceed.
You can see me now.
Yes, we can see you, and you can
Okay.
proceed.
I hope I'm not long.
Yeah.
I'll do a presentation, send it later on the WhatsApp group, possibly.
Okay.
I'm from Pume Jobe from Department of Community Safety in KZN, situated in Durban, within a district. Thank you so much to Tsogo Road Safety for this program. And as a department, we really appreciate this opportunity to be part of this program. We are part because everything starts in our neighborhoods, and we'd like to play a role in structures. We would like to play a role, and we'd like the youth to play a role in structures in their communities to fight crime. Hence, we are here. In terms of our department now, how we operate, I will take you back to the Constitution, the section 12 of the Constitution of Republic of South Africa, 1996. It enshrines that the right of freedom and security of the persons, and in this regard provides that this includes for people not to be deprived of freedom or of freedom arbitrarily or without just cause, not to be detained without trial, to be free from all forms of violence, either public or private sources, not to be tortured in any way, not to be treated or punished in inhumane or degrading way. And then section 198 of chapter 11 spells out that people of South Africa must live as equals, to live in peace and harmony, free from fear and want, and to seek a better life, and that national security must be pursued in compliance with the law. In view of the fact that community safety structures form an important part of the pursuit of national security and the right to freedom and security of persons, it is necessary to workshop members on the following: an overview of the criminal justice system, the mandate and the strategies of the department, the safety structures within our areas. The intended outcome of this presentation that I'm doing is for all of you to understand the role of community structures in our separate areas. I'll try to be short here to explain the criminal justice system, what each sector is responsible for. In terms of the constitution of RSA, we have 3 branches of state. The executive, which includes the presidents, the premiers, the ministers, the MECs, the mayors. And then we have the legislature, which includes parliament and provincial legislature. And then we have the judiciary courts. The role now of the legislature, elected representative of people of SA, making law for all people, which everyone must obey. The role of the executive, elected representative who must implement the laws. And the roles of the courts is to interpret the law and decide on disputes referred by individuals and prosecution of suspected criminals. And then we come to the police. The police is to prevent, combat, and investigate crime, and to also maintain the public order. Then we have your NPA, which prosecutes, the courts, who decide on whether the suspected criminal is guilty beyond reasonable doubt and sentence a guilty person. And then we have correctional services, which takes the person sentenced to imprisonment in custody to correct their behavior. And then you have our Department of Community Safety and Liaison. Our mandate is to monitor the police, investigate complaints of poor service, build good relations between police and the community, build community safety partnerships, and develop safety structures. How do we do this? We have 2 units within the department. One will monitor the police and their performance, and the other one, which I work on, is the one that deals with partnership, where we work with different stakeholders. We do awareness campaign. We also provide workshops which are in connection with criminal or crime issues. That's where we partner with department platform, and we also work with NGOs and other non-governmental like NGOs, your CPFs, we have other crime structures like your CCPAs, you'll find us working with those. But the main one that we work with on regular basis is your CPFs. Now, community policing forums are the meeting places created by legislation for purposes of liaison between police and all components of society to improve police service delivery by joint problem identification and solving problems. And then I will, as I said, I will circulate the structure, the cycle of crime. It will show you more or less the steps that you are supposed to take in terms of crime. When the crime is committed, you must phone the police, and then the police will come and arrest. They will do the investigation while the person is kept inside. Then the person has a right to apply for bail. They will be sent to NPA for prosecution. Then there will be a trial, and then the person will get a judgment or a sentencing. And then it's either the person is acquitted or fined or incarcerated. The person goes out once the sentence is over and then is integrated back to the community.
Ms. Nompumelelo?
Yes.
Just for
I'm
the
still
interest
here.
for the interest of time, can you just maybe wrap it up in a minute or two so that we can allow for questions and other colleagues to come in?
Okay. There's a number of structures that lead now to your CPF. You have your street committees, your VDs, your ward safety committee, local safety committees. It goes up until CPF and then reaches the province. I won't go through as I will send the presentation over. But what I want to stress, as a department, as I was saying, that we deal with campaigns. We are hoping that the youth that we have here will join the safety structures, especially in their street areas where they form groups of 10. And then within these groups of 10, they have a representative that will represent them at your CPF meetings, where they will talk on issues of crime, issues of safety. It may be on transport, it may be on just safety as a whole in their communities. And that structure at CPF level then represent the area at municipal area where we have a structure called CSF. That structure takes all the information that has been happening on local base, it goes to the province. So I am pleading with the youth that can we join these structures so that we can cap the issue of crime. And it makes it easier to escalate information that is happening. It might be, as I'm saying, on transport issues, on issues of crime. Also within the department, we have a section that deals with a volunteer program via CPP, where we take the youth within the areas or wards, and they act as the ears and the eyes of the police. We give them a stipend. At this moment, we are at 1,500. But the way of appointing these people or the youth is we advertise or we conduct counselors so that we can have their names and then they form within this structure or serve within these structures. In terms of getting information where you can get our department, you can Google our offices, you can go to the police station if you need more information. I will also leave my details within the group. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Jobe. Colleagues, do I have maybe any questions for her before I move on to the other colleagues? And we will share. I see a comment in the chat section. We will share the presentation as she has promised to share it with us. Okay, maybe let me just give one of our also other organizations we are working with. I see there's Afikile. Afikile, maybe if you can also come in and share how you work with young people and just people in the road safety space while we wait for other colleagues to type in their questions. Afikile, are you there?
Hello.
Yes, Afikile, I can hear you. You can proceed.
Yes, yeah. Anyway, my name is Afikile Chona from the organization called Senzakahle Youth Development. I just have one question from my sister who was in the panel just now. How can we access, how can we participate to those programs without to go to our councillors? Because other councillors are working politically. For instance, if I'm not a part of the maybe ANC, if I can say, or EFF, I will never get the access opportunity to be part of those opportunities. So can we be able to access those opportunities without going to our councillors? Thank you.
Nompumelelo, I believe that question was for you. Can you maybe clarify? Nompumelelo, are you still with us? Colleagues, I think we seem to have lost Unompumelelo there for some time. I know there was also a question in relation to the business model canvas. I don't know if Dr. Roche, you were able to check it out in the comments section and you can just come through and just clarify.
I haven't managed to see it, Tabang. I don't know if you saw it. Sorry.
Okay, let me just go back. All right, no, it's fine, my leader. We will look at it. Maybe just clarify with colleagues, Dr. Roche, how they can also look into getting funds from especially your private and public entities in terms of aligning it with their business canvas model. What are the key aspects they should be looking at when they do that?
Thanks for that, Tabang. The main thing that funders look for when they assess proposals, it's basically, are you able to show them the impact that you're going to have? So that's the first thing, because they need to justify why are they giving you money. So you need to be able to say, this is the impact that we are going to have in the community. This is the problem that we are solving. And so those are the two main things. So what problem is there? So back to my scholar patrol exercise or case study. You need to be able to demonstrate that because there's a busy intersection or there's a busy road, there's been quite a lot of high accidents being reported from that space. So this space is a problem and this problem needs to be solved. And then you need to then come and say, based on what we have seen as a problem, this is what we propose as a solution. And we think this is going to be the impact. And then from there, give them a sense of how much do you need. And do you have codes that you have secured, that they can see? Do you have a budget that you have drafted? And they're able to take those and be able to assess whether they'll be able to. Of course, they will have their requirements. Are you registered? Are you over this age? Are you under this age? So they'll have those requirements. But I think at the core of it is what problem are you solving? Is there a problem that you are solving? Is this problem so big that if it's not solved, it's going to become a serious challenge for the community? Secondly, how are you solving that problem? Show us how you're going to go about solving this problem. In my case, I gave an example of a scholar patrol. As a case study, we need to patrol this road because a lot of students get involved in car accidents when they go to school or when they come to school or come back from school. Thirdly, what is your budget? What do you want? Where are you going to spend this money from? Don't come and say, I want 500,000. And when they ask you, what are you going to use the money for? You are going to now start thinking, I need this for this and that. Be precise, be intentional, have your budget line by line. This is how much you're going to spend for safety clothes. This is how much you're going to spend for signage. And those amounts that you quote there need to have supporting quotations. This is a quotation for the signage. This is a quotation that we got for the clothes. This is a quotation that we got for training. And this is a total amount, 500,000. So be specific. Do your homework thoroughly. It makes it easier for funders to fund you once you have done your homework.
Can I please add something?
All right, quickly,
Yes.
Tato, 1 minute.
Yeah, I think youth must be useful. And why am I? I think there's many opportunities we can be able to take advantage of, and which is a topic that Roger usually speaks about, which he loves so much, which is the digital innovation. I think we need to find a way of youth, in the road safety space, coming up with projects that are within the digital space. And I'm posing the challenge to the youth to say, guys, there's a lot of road fatalities happening, there's a lot of road accidents happening. Let us come up with digital solutions and let us propose them and let us discuss them during the online mentorship sessions, because then we are coming up with a different kind of feel. Stop doing things the normal way, and let's see how we can use social media, we can use digital tools in order to run road safety campaigns. So let us use the digital innovation in order to do road safety. Thanks.
Thanks, Manida. Sis Nompumelelo, I see you have your hand up, and there was also a question that was posed to you with relation to gatekeeping when it comes to opportunities that are linked with the Department of Safety. Maybe you can answer that while you also add on what you want to add on for us. Nompumelelo, are you there? Nompumelelo, are you there?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes,
Sorry, I keep on losing connection. But there was a gentleman that was asking how can he get in contact with the department in terms of the programs that we have. It either will be your VSPPP, the volunteer program, or to do awareness campaigns. One, you can get in contact with our head office in Pietermaritzburg on the 033 number 341-9300, which I'll also post on the WhatsApp group. You can also contact your nearest police station or your CPF, because they will have our details. If you want to get on the program of BSCPP or get more information or do awareness campaigns in your area. I'm not sure if there was another question that was asked.
No, that was the two questions that were asked. Thank you very much, Nompumelelo. I see we still have our colleague, Remson. Remson, I think in terms of how your department can work together with youth, especially in the KZN, Midlands and rural areas, what are the projects that you can partner on with our young people and people in general who are doing road safety that you can highlight, or what interventions do you have at community level that the agency does? Maybe if you can just come in and just give clarity to colleagues that you are not just a watchdog, you are also having projects on the ground. Ramson?
Thank you, Chairperson. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, sir. You can go ahead.
As I've indicated, the major project currently that was on the table is the one for entrepreneurial development. That is the only one that I can cite. In terms of how can the youth from the KZN access that, as I've indicated, early in my presentation. They can keep in touch with us. I'm not sure whether should I give our contact now, or will you in a position to forward our what is it? Our contact. But yes.
Maybe Remson, you can in the chat box, you can just leave your contacts and email where colleagues can contact you. But we'll also distribute the presentation and as well as other information that you have provided to us.
Perfect. Maybe just quickly, just in case, our contact at the head office currently is 087 285 0500. Let me repeat the number: 087 285 0500. Otherwise, my email address is remsen.my surname, which is Masipa, MASIPA, at rtia.co.za. remsen.masipa at rtia.co.za. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Remsen, and also thank you for those contact details. Can you also type them in the chat box? Just go to the chat button and just type the number and the email address so that colleagues can receive them. Okay, I see Abuti Rems has done that for you. Thank you very much, colleagues. Maybe Nompumelelo Jobe, before we move on, just also as the Department of Safety, what programs and what opportunities are there for people who want to do programs or for especially road safety, because it is a big issue, especially in KZN, where you have learners that walk alongside the roads for long distances where there's no pedestrian sidewalks. What interventions can community safety, apart from combating mainstream crime, what intervention in terms of road safety are there existing opportunities for young people that they can work with the department to scab road accidents and road carnages, because they are at some point a level of crime? Nombomelelo, you can come through.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you.
Hello?
Yes, we can hear you. You can.
As I was saying, as part of the other things that we do on the crime prevention and partnerships is form partnerships with different departments and do awareness campaigns. I will make an example of Mzinyati in Inanda. I think it was last year, where it was like every week people were being hit by cars in Mzinyati. So we had to partner with RAF, the Inkosi Ngobo there, where we called the community to do an awareness campaign on how to behave on the road. What happens even because the taxis break laws on daily basis? How can the community contribute? We went as far as where RAF did a presentation on their role as an organization. So as a department, we do awareness campaigns in communities when we are called. It might be in regards to crime or issues that end up in criminal activities. So in terms of road safety also, we do awareness campaigns. When we are called by the community, we come and respond. I hope it addresses your question.
It does, just partly, but just maybe to just explore this further in terms of prevention. I know when you talk about safety, prevention is one of the core pillars of safety. Isn't there any special in the department that seeks to deal with the issue of prevention? Not just talking about awareness, but is there programs that deal with prevention? Because that is the core issue when we're talking about road safety.
The part where, hello?
Yes, you can go ahead.
You can hear me. The part where we deal with prevention, besides doing awareness campaign before and after something has happened, is where we have volunteers in our communities acting as the ears and the eyes of our department and the police itself. So that's part of our prevention structure that we have. But we also welcome more ideas that we can get from stakeholders, from your communities, from your other departments to do prevention projects.
Thank you very much. Colleagues, I want to open up the session and allow colleagues to comment. We're left with exactly 10 minutes. Coming with comments and questions. So I'm going to take a round of comments and questions to any of our previous speakers or about anything in the session before we close it in 10 minutes time. I'm taking hands. Is there anyone with a comment or a question? I'm taking hands, colleagues. We are also looking into the chat box if maybe you are having sound issues.
Hello.
Or you can just unmute your mic and shoot. Yes, Afigile?
Yes, no, I just want to ask, when we can provide these programs in Eastern Cape, especially in the rural areas? Because it looked like all these programs are coming here in urban areas, while those people who are in rural areas, they deserve such a programs. So I just want to know, how can we take these programs into rural areas to make sure that people in the rural areas can be able to get the same information that we receive here in urban areas? Thank you.
Noted, my leader. Menzi, I see your hand is up. Yes, Menzi, you can speak. Just unmute your mic, Menzi. Unmute your mic. Your mic is muted. I see your lips are moving, but your mic is muted. Please unmute your mic and continue with your question. Menzi, can you hear us? Are you able to unmute your mic? Yes, press the unmute button and then proceed to speaking. Menzi, unmute your mic. Your mic is muted, my leader. All right, colleagues. Menzi, please maybe type your question in the chat box and we'll be able to articulate it for you because your mic is muted, hence you are unable to audibly voice out your comment or question. Any other colleagues? Tato?
I'm not able to.
I have tried. We cannot unmute him.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. He has an issue of maybe because I see it's connected with headphones, so maybe that might be a contributing factor to him not be able to participate audibly in the meeting. But Menzi, please do drop your question in the chat box, and we will read it out for colleagues. I think he dropped a very interesting comment that. How are we able to, when and how will we be able to take such programs into rural communities where information is needed the most? How do we decentralize this nature of events and sessions and information to rural communities? And I think that's one challenge that we are posed by in this country, that information is mainly centered around metros and urban areas. And I think together with our colleagues from the Tsogo Road Safety and our partners, your RAF, your TITA, your RTs, and your RTMC, those are some of the things that we need to look at. Maybe develop a program that is tailor-made for specifically deep rural areas, and that's one thing we look into. We promise as a team, and I'm putting them on the spot. Maybe if Abuti Rams can come in. How are we going to take this thing, Abuti Rams, from online to offline in the deep rural areas? How are we going to make sure that this information gets there, my leader? Because young people are saying that a lot of things are happening down there and people don't have information. Maybe you can come in and explain to us how we're going to get there.
Afikile is raising a very important point, which I've briefly had a chat with him and I invited him to be part of this session. Indeed, Eastern Cape rather has been neglected for some time, but I believe that with the collaborations that we have, established with the other partners and our colleagues, we'll be able to reach that area. But I think for today, let us focus on KZN. But definitely, KZN is on our cards. 2021 should be a good year for us to implement this. Hopefully, we'll be on level 0 of the lockdown and try to reach that community as well. But also, let us open the discussions to even the local businesses and who could be, very essential to assisting us in making sure that we roll out the program in that area as well. But definitely, we are looking into Eastern Cape, middle rural areas. I know even the townships like Ndantsani, we would want to go into that. We've seen a couple of accidents happening around that area as well with the research that we have done, but we believe that we could be able to do that. Thank you so much, Taba.
Thanks, Abuti Rams. Tato, you can come through. I see your hand is up. Tato Mtaban.
Well, yeah, no. Well, thank you so much, Bebene. Thank you so much, Rams. I think in terms of the guys, we will definitely discussion offline. Remember, even Ramodise earlier on mentioned something about a flagship program, about possibly getting into a partnership. So let's have a thorough discussion after this program. Maybe set up something together with them. But definitely, the Tsogo Road Safety Program, its mandate is to go to all 9 provinces. So we go as per province, because of resources are also limited. So we'll look into it.
Okay. Thank you very much, Tato, for that. Menzi, in regards with your question, is that I see Nompumelelo has responded in the chat box section, and you'll take that discussion offline. But colleagues, because of time, and we've been here since 9 o'clock, 8:30, some of us. I'd like to give over to Abuti Rams. Thank you very much for your attention, for your participation, to all our speakers, our partners, and Dr. Rosh Mamabolo, and Ramodise, and Thabo, and Aus Nompumelelo for coming through, and Rams. Rams, maybe let's take this time to just do the poll, and people can participate in the poll, then we can close the session.
Oh yeah, colleagues, there's polls that have been shared with you throughout the session, and then if you missed a poll, please make sure that you have a look at it. I think the last one was with Artia, and then if you're unable to participate in those ones, I'm going to relaunch them. The polls are very important for us to really understand what's happening, how did you learn about this sessions and whatnot, and what more information you would need from us. Just quickly click on the screen that gives you the poll. It will show you, the different options, and then you can choose. I think there are 2 on this one with regards to this one, your social media. And then the other one that will be done also before I end the poll, it's going to be on Artia's presentation. And I think a lot of people are then saying, like, if you already implemented the ARTO bill in Gauteng, how does it get to KZN? Because there's a number of people who are dying in Durban, especially in the central area of KZN. How do we then bring Artia to those areas to contribute towards the reduction of the road carnages that are there in that particular area? So that is the first one, social media, and then I'm going to also look into the yes, this is the Artia one. I'll share the results with you guys now. But Tabang, I think from our side we are good. We are good. We are good. I'm good on my side. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you very much, Abuti Rams. I think I was having time in my mind, but Tato Mutlaban, I see you have your hand up. Can you come through?
Okay, I just want to say, please, when we put guys on the WhatsApp group, we just want participation of people in the WhatsApp groups. I'm just saying, people. I know in the past some people would leave the group and what, but the group sessions are going to be very important. So let's maintain being in the groups.
Tato? I think we lost Tato there, colleagues. Yeah. Tato, are you still there? In essence, what Mr. Mtlaban was saying is that let's maintain maximum participation in the group. Tato, do you still want to continue, or you are finished?
No, I'm good. I'm good. Thank you so much, Tabang.
All right, colleagues. I think this then I see that the polls are happening. This will then bring an end to our long session. Thank you very much for sticking it out. 4 hours of information sharing, of presentation, of workshop through the business canvas model. It's been a hectic day. And on behalf of Abuti Rams Consultancy and the Tsogo Road Safety team, I'd like to thank you. And on behalf of the Abuti Rams Foundation, I would like to thank you for coming through and participating, and the Tsogo Road Safety team. Thank you very much, guys. You can have yourself a wonderful day. Maybe our speakers can remain for just 2 minutes feedback session. Our speakers and our partners from the different agencies. Is there anything I've left out? Abuti Rams, Tato, Knox, is there anything that we are leaving out before we close the session?
I think you're covered.
All right, colleagues, you may exit. Thank you very much for your participation. Give yourself a round of applause as you leave the meeting. Thank you, colleagues. Have a wonderful day. Go and grab a lunch. Go and get